I won't put it past me or past you. I'm gonna come over here and sit. Oh, that's what happens when you get old. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Wow. Who's got a notepad? Gotta love it. Yesterday, not one person had a notepad. So one guy went into the bathroom, pulled out some toilet paper, and started writing on it. I said, don't do that. I'm gonna have the shits. But I'm pumped. Okay. Cover a whole bunch of different topics. I know there's probably a bunch of guys here that's heard some of this stuff before. Hopefully you have. If you haven't, we're really screwed. As I try to enlighten guys after doing this for 30 years. Started back in 1979 doing this, working at a wrestling school with my dad. Seen just about everything there is to see in the business, done about everything there is to be done in the business. So I try to take my knowledge and try to pass it on to everybody out there as much as I can. Now I'm just a very opinionated guy about the business and what I'm looking for as the individual. So some things you might not agree with, some things you might agree with. Again, that's the fun part of our business. Everybody's got their own opinion. I'm not saying mine is right, but I'm saying mine is right. No. Hit a couple topics. One, we'll talk about being a babyface, expectations, how do you get over as a babyface, how do you get over as a heel, what's the difference between a cutoff and heat spot. What is the company, what is the business looking for? I love that question. That's a $68,000 question. I don't know the answer, but hopefully we can all find out today. Characters, how to be a character, how to do a promo, how to get yourself over, how to get yourself fired. I can get you on that one. We'll start there quick. Storytelling, psychology, all topics that I'll kind of hit. And if I don't, just raise your hand and tell me, hey Dan, you promised me this, but you didn't give it to me. Sometimes my dyslexia and dementia and all that shit kicks in, so I would be a little lost. So let's talk about the wrestler first, okay? I always get everybody, okay, so characters, let's talk about characters. We'll start first, before we get in the ring, let's talk about how we get in the ring and who are we, what are we portraying, how do we get ourselves over before we get into the ring. First things first, from a character standpoint, you want to try to find something, and you hear me say the word different about 1,000 times. I had a thing in my wrestling school and I had t-shirts made that said, dare to be different. What does that mean? Exactly what I just said, dare to be different. If there's 20 people on a wrestling card and you're looking at the wrestling card and you see what all these guys are doing, what their characters are, you have to come up with something totally different. You have to dare to be different because you want to be recognized. That's my other question I get a lot. How do I get recognized? You pull your pants, no. You get recognized because you're different. So you have to come up with something that nobody else is doing. Easier said than done, because everything's been done before in this business. What we do is we cheat and we copy each other. Everybody steals everybody's moves, pretty much. So what you do is you take something that somebody else is, you bring it into you, and you put a different spin on it, and you make it you. You stamp of approval. What do I mean by that? You can take a piece of chicken, if you put breading and marinara sauce, it becomes chicken parm. If I bread it with shake and bake, it becomes shake and bake. If I put barbecue sauce on it, it's barbecue chicken. Goddamn, what the fuck is Dean talking about? No, I'm getting hungry. It's still chicken at the end of the day, but whatever you do to it, it becomes different. Same thing with the wrestling move, hold, match, whatever. You take the same basic mechanical stuff that you do, but you add different things around it and you become different. So what I did, growing up, I watched lucha libre type style wrestling, Japanese wrestling, American wrestling, the guys that wrestle in Canada for Stampede, guys that wrestle for Europe, that was my favorite. And I took all that and I made, it's like making soup. You throw this in, you throw this in, you stir up the pot, now you're Heinz 57. So I'm a little bit of everything, and I made my own style. And that's how you get recognized. It's hard, again, it's very hard to be different because everything's been done before. So what you gotta do sometimes, you can go back 20, 30 years ago, look at YouTube and find Joe Blow, whatever the case may be. Okay, Joe Blow was this and he was over in that era. But I like some of his stuff. Takes that stuff, bring it forward, because what's old is new. What happens is in the wrestling business is an everlasting changing business. So the kids that grew up watching people in the 70s have now grown up and have their own kids, so their kids now are watching the business. So they might not know that Rick Rude used to put his hands in the back of his head and swivel his hips. make it a point. Use a lot of reference points for guys back in the day, because hopefully everybody should know them. Any questions up to this point? I usually do Q&A at the end, but sometimes guys forget. They'll come up to me and go, damn, I forgot what I was going to ask you. And I'm only here once, so ask away. Just don't make it stupid questions. No, I'm just using. So is that, yes, you're the one, great.
Yes, I was wondering if, what if you just so happen to run into somebody like very similar to you on a show? Like very similar to you in how you wrestle, very similar to you.
You beat him up in the locker room, you take his shit. No. That happens a lot, because the more I see wrestling now from the independents, everybody's doing the same thing. I had a conversation with somebody the other day about this. There must be, within a 7-card match, at least 20 super kicks. Everybody's super kicks. Everything becomes like Baskin Robbins, is the flavor of the month. Everybody does a super kick. Everybody does the one where you're on your knee and you do the running knee. You do the one where you hit the ropes, the guy's bent over, running knee. You do the one where the guy's on his knees and you sit back and you hit your own leg, which I love that part, guys. I'm a real big mark for the guys that hit their own leg. Stupidest fucking thing, bar none. Why would you hit your leg? Because we have gotten so engraved in our minds that we think that sound equals punishment. Nobody in a bar fight would ever pick up a bottle and hit me in the head and hit their leg. Okay, I'm kidding. One guy actually did it. He was drunk though, no. But I get guys that are seasoned veterans that have been working 20 to 30 years, and they're still doing that, and you tell them, go. Sometimes those guys are harder to break a habit, because once you've been doing this for a long time, it's hard to say, well, I've been successful, I'm making a shitload of money, I'm on top, so what if I hit my fucking leg? I can argue that to a certain extent. It's not right. You know, it does things that's under the category things that don't make sense. So you just gotta be very careful about doing stuff like that. Does everybody understand what I'm talking about? And I guarantee you, there's at least 10 people right away. I'm just gonna look at faces. As soon as I said, they're going, shit, did he see me? So I fucking hit my leg. But I see it every night. And sometimes guys and girls are so bad at it. That's the worst. Like when you kick somebody and it's the bad Japanese movie, and then the kick, or the kick and then 2 seconds later the slap. If you are gonna do it, at least do it well. At least do it so good that I can't see it, which is pretty hard to do. Okay.
The chop is
the chop? Oh yeah, of course. Everything you do, you gotta hit your own body. It's funny because you're hitting somebody and hitting yourself first. So why aren't you selling you hitting yourself before that guy sells you hitting him?
So that's just like when they got lovely handprints here.
Oh, exactly. So moral of that story is, if you are gonna smack your leg, wear long tights, right? Okay, so you can't see the handprint. Yes?
When you get hit and they make a big sound and the crowd goes, oh, and then you return it and it's a weak sound and the crowd goes, weak. Then it's like,
And you're wrestling in front of the wrong crowd. It's the truth.
I have a question more about characters. You're saying
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
you're saying more about being different. It seems like today people actually use their real name instead of big personality. Is it better to be a big character, bigger than life, or to be a real person?
There's so many, not to get in a whole diatribe of this, but there's a whole nother part of our business that there's so many there's the if factor. There's so many intricate parts of our business. Like there's no right or wrong answer for a lot of shit that happens in our business. You just gotta find kind of your own path. There's some characters that are like way over the top that make it. For the most part, if you're trying to be a serious heel or a serious babyface, you gotta stay closer to home. What I mean by that is, I was talking to some guys yesterday about this in a seminar I did in Hazleton. What's your first name? Henry. So Henry wants to be a heel, and he wants to be a nasty heel. He wants to be a heel that when you talk to Henry, you're scared that he's gonna come over and rape your mom and screw your dog. Okay, that's a little much, but we get it. But the problem is, Henry's such a nice guy. In here, he can't be a heel because he doesn't have it. You gotta have it in order to be it. It's a bumper sticker. Gotta have it. Write that down. No. Point being is, I can't tell you how many times an officer will say, we're gonna make this guy a monster heel, and I'm like, but this guy's helping old ladies across the street. He's not gonna be a heel. It's very difficult. Vice versa. Me, I'm an asshole. I like being an asshole. I like being a smart ass. I'm a natural heel. I don't like being cheered. And that's just me. I'm a real, my wife and my close friends call me grumpy because I'm not the nicest person around. I'm not mean to people, but I'm just don't like life sometimes. No, I'm just, it would be very hard for me to be the guy to hit the mat and kiss babies and hug mommies and wave and all that crap. That's just not me personally. So I'd rather be a smart ass, yes.
Once you said you were pretty sure yourself that you wanted to work heel and that was what you were good at, did you still market yourself as like versatile? Were you still like, okay, I'll play the face, like that's what you need me to do, but I still have this is what I understand.
Again, going back to there's so many factors because you could change. I tell guys that are going to wrestling schools and training, make sure you play both roles at one point in your life. Because if you've never been a babyface, a la Ricky Steamboat, who's never been a heel, and he's dying to be a heel, but no one will ever buy it in a million years, Ricky Steamboat being a heel. Never. Because he's such a strong babyface. His whole career, he was very one-sided. Same as a guy like Sting. So very difficult for them to change because the crowd, the fans have been so invested in years of seeing this one-side character. There's no way they're going to buy into the other side of it. It's hard. You kind of got to find your niche because every match is different. There's a big gray area that we work in front of now. When I started, pretty much, there wasn't covered wagons, so don't go there. It wasn't black and white TV. When I started, it was more the guy with the white tights, the white boots, the blonde flowing hair, the guy with the Corvette, the guy with the Rolex watch, the guy with the hot chicks, and the guys with the cowboy boots. They were the baby faces. The heels were the guys with the bald head, tats all over their body, piercings at every point of their body. They were the bad guy. Now, 2019, the heel is the blonde-headed guy with the Corvette, the guy that's nice looking, that would probably help your grandmother across the street. The guy who looks like he could kill half the neighborhood is now the baby face, pretty much. You walk into a locker room now. When I started, I'd walk in a locker room, there'd only be one bald-headed guy with tattoos and piercings, and he was either the German or the Russian, pretty much. Or maybe a Lithuanian, if there was a Lithuanian, I don't know. But now you walk into most locker rooms, it looks like a prison hold. And I'm not being mean. Most of my closest friends got tattoos. I don't have one. I couldn't fit World Wrestling Entertainment. No, just kidding. I'm not saying it's bad or I'm not being racist from, okay, you got tattoos, you're a bad person. I'm just stating the facts that locker rooms now are full of guys like that. Everybody looks the same. So it's even harder now to stand out because it seems like one guy does it, this guy does it, this guy doesn't, they just keep going, for your whole body's one giant tattoo. Just making a point that the business is different, society's different, and we kind of play to society to a certain extent. What's popular going on in 2019? Like an updated version. A guy like, I wouldn't say Val Venus, but a character that was really heavily into 30 years ago probably wouldn't work in today's day and age because everything's different. We live in a different world, totally different. Now, match structure from bell to bell, I'm a firm believer everything that I'm going to tell you today still works today and still can help guys get over and be successful because bell to bell, that'll never change. What you do walking to the ring, what you do walking out of the ring, mannerisms, character, everything you do within the match, storytelling, psychology, that's all a little different. But bell to bell, it's all the same. I was told one thing very important from my dad when I started the business. If you could wrestle, always have a job. If you don't understand that, I could stretch it out a little more. What I mean by that is you could always have a job. You may not be a top guy, but there's always need for guys to make other guys, enhancement guys, mid-card guys, opening match guys. You're still getting a steady paycheck. I'll give you some examples. Guy like Funaki maybe. I've known Funaki since he was 16 years old, had one of his first matches in Japan. We're very, very close friends. I've known him pretty much my whole career. He had a 10-year stay at WWE, never really did much, just the one time when he did the Kai and Tai stuff, which is pretty funny. Good hand, good worker. He's not gonna make you really a whole lot of money. He's not gonna be a top guy, but he had a job for 10 years. So you have to figure out as an individual, what's success to you? Is it working all the time, getting a paycheck, steady paycheck? Or is it, I just got to be the top dog? I'm in this business because I just want to win the world title, which is fine, and that's great. Or is it just longevity? You know, if you can wrestle, and if you have the ability to put guys over and look good with every guy that you work, you will always have a job. Brad Armstrong's another guy. Probably bell to bell, definitely top 10 on my list, one of the best workers ever in the business. Brad Armstrong. There's 4 brothers. I've wrestled every one. Even wrestled the old man who's almost 80 years old. Wow. And he's still working. Point being, that son of a bitch could work with anybody. He can make anybody look good. The old proverbial broomstick look good. He was that kind of, everybody wanted to work with him because they knew they'd get the best match possible. Never really made a whole lot of money, never really a top guy, always a guy right here. Huge fan of his, but he had a long career. And he was very good at what he did. Does anybody understand what I'm talking about before we go forward? Sometimes I say stuff and guys look at you like, what the fuck? This is 30 years of shit that I've went through for you guys, no, just kidding, to understand and figure out the business. That's in my next book. Why write a book when you shouldn't write a book? No, just kidding. So, find a character that's close to who you are, as close as possible. So when you do promos, when you do stuff, it feels more natural. Wrestling fans are different now than they were because they're a little bit smarter because there's social media out there. So they can read about every single thing. You do one thing bad, everybody in the world knows it within a snap of a finger. You do one thing good, everybody knows it's snap of a finger. So you got to be careful nowadays with that. But you could also use it to your advantage to get over. Not to drift away, because I'm on the point. I told the guys this yesterday, how strong social media is. Anybody see the buyout match between Cody and Dustin? Pretty damn fucking good, man. Pretty damn good. Guess what they had to back him up? 2 videos on social media. No TV, no nothing, but 2 videos hyped that match. Best match probably I've seen in about 10 years from an emotional standpoint. When you can get an audience that still knows their business is bullshit, and you can get guys, kids, women crying, got them. I'm so proud of those guys. Really proud. I get the chills sometimes because it was an awesome, awesome match. And especially when you see everybody flying around, and those guys just kind of stayed still and told the story. So that was perfect proof. A story will always outweigh what the hell you're doing in a match. If you don't think it does, go back and watch that match again. They didn't do a whole lot. It's what they did. Everything you do should have a meaning and a purpose in a match. Just don't do something for a pop. Don't do something for a reaction. If you want a reaction, put your hand in poison ivy, you'll get a reaction. You eat Chinese food, 20 minutes later, you're hungry again. It doesn't last. Give me something that lasts, that I'm gonna remember, okay? Any other questions? Yeah. Double hand.
As far as like characters go, how do you stop like when a promoter wants to just book you as a certain thing? You know, it's like, okay, cool, I can play a baby face or a heel. But a promoter takes one look and goes, that's my heel. But another promoter goes,
That's his preference because he's paying the money. Sometimes you're going to get in situations that hard to ask or answer questions on that because it's circumstance. I had a guy last night said, you know, everybody says I work stiff and they're scared to work with me. I said, do you work stiff? He goes, no, I work snug. I said, snug and sniffing are a little different. I says, if you work snug all the time and you're hurting people, and people find out you're doing it on purpose because you're trying to get over about somebody's expense, now you're fucked. Because if you haven't learned now, our business is locker room business. It's the old phys ed changing room in high school where everybody starts rumors, starts talking about people. So you work for this group of guys and everybody knows this guy is a little stiff and hurts people. This guy tells this guy before you know it, every locker room you walk in, they look at you going, that's the guy. Now you're kind of screwed. You know what I mean? Kind of got to stand up for yourself a little bit, but then it's a fine line of, do I tell the promoter, no, I'm not doing that? And then he goes, okay, well, I'm not paying you, get the hell out. Kind of take what's given to you on that particular night and do it. What I would suggest, when you're here, and I leave, and I tell this to everybody, I usually say this at the end of my speech, play role. Don't just come in here and just wrestle and try to come up with the ultimate move, the triple Lindy off the top with the tip and a twist. Doesn't mean anything. Play role. Be a heel one match. Okay? You two guys are going to work. So for 5 minutes, you be a heel. Switch. Another 5 minutes, you be the heel. Give me a different finish. Give me a different finish. Play role so you get used to doing this all the time. Because another thing we're going to talk about is timing. Timing from an aspect, when you go to TVs, you got 6-minute matches. Sometimes you got a 3-minute match. Oh shit, what do I do? You practice that in here. You get a guy with a stopwatch. Give him 6 minutes. About 2 minutes into it, say, listen, you got to go home now. Work this stuff. Work it here and experience it. Get it out of your system. Perfect it. Here, that's why you have a school. Now, when you get to WWE, AEW, whatever it is, case may be, you're one head again of the game. So if somebody goes, hey, listen, you have 6 minutes, and right before you walk out and your music hits, sorry, you're down to 2, and you go, holy shit, what do I do? You're a little bit prepared. Because that's the biggest problem I see, bar none. Every talent, young and old, I had a problem with it too, because I just don't like it. I don't think possibly it's hard. It's almost impossible to get over in 2 minutes. Yes, ma'am.
What about like for commercial breaks and stuff? Like,
Okay,
do you always know you have a commercial break in that, or?
For a 2-minute match, probably
Or
probably
a
not.
match, but, like if you have a match, like do you always know going in your match that you're gonna have a commercial break?
Yes, yes. That just the only times that would happen if something happened before and they're calculating the time, and somebody said, "Oh shit, I miscalculated." There's going to be a commercial break. So I would have to, as a producer in a headset, if I'm smarter than the guys working, which is most of the time, I would feed that through the referee. Go, listen, tell them they got a break spot, and this is what it is.
Okay.
That's simple. I'm going to get into break spots and what to look for, what to do, what not to do later. Remind me of that. So write that down. Remind Dean. Okay, my new secretary. Let's move on. Match-wise, psychology, story. What's the most important thing? What's the most important thing you guys think you should have accomplished before you get into a match? Or no? What should you know the first thing before you get in a match? Yes, that's one. That's important. Especially if it's two guys I don't know. If it's generic A versus generic B, you gotta let me know within the first 30 seconds to a minute, who am I cheering for, who am I booing? If not, I'm gonna be very bored very quick. Yeah. Story. What?
Bump himself.
The what?
Learn how to bump himself. So
Yeah. Story.
Story.
What? Anybody?
Story.
The story.
God damn, you guys are good. Did you get that on? Yeah, okay. Story. Awesome. You have to know what your story is. Your story could be a short story. Your story could be a mystery. That's always my joke. You guys told a hell of a story out there. Too bad it was a mystery. But I'm pumped. Think what your story is. So, what's your name? Chris. And you're wrestling Henry. Chris and Henry are having a match. I don't know who Chris is. I don't know who Henry is. They never met. First time they met was backstage. Okay? But I need some kind of story. So the story would be, you're a big guy. You're a heel. Henry's the babyface. What do? We can kind of make it a generic story, or we could just make it different. We could do we could do the cookie cutter basic blueprint match, which is tie up, shine up your baby face, let me know who's the good guy. You sell it, maybe you powder out of the ring to let me know you're a little bit of a chick of shit heel. Come back in, you get a heat spot or a cutoff spot. We'll get into that aspect of the business later. Have your match, get your heat, makes a comeback, 1 or 2 little dips. What do I mean by dips? 1 or 2 little false finishes, so it's not a straight through comeback and a win. And you go over, he catches one, leaves the ring, leaves you frustrated. So the story was, just pretty much had a match. You made him as the babyface. He's trying to win, you're trying to win. You're both trying to make a name for yourself, type of deal. The story could change where maybe the bell rings, you go right after him. There is no shine, it's straight heat, because everybody else is doing a shine on the card and you're match number 3. So you switch it and you go, listen, everybody else is starting the same way with the series of arm drags. We're not gonna do that. As soon as you come in and go to the second rope to get a pop, I'm gonna hit you in the back, step back, let the referee go, can you take the match, ring the bell, you get right back on him and it's right straight into the heat. He makes a straightforward comeback, or he doesn't make a comeback and he beats the guy out of the heat. Does everybody understand or know what I mean when I say you beat somebody out of the heat with no comeback? Everybody. You beat his ass the whole entire match. He's there, you go to lift him up, he's limp. Look at the people, go bend over to pick him up, quick little roll up, 1, 2, 3. He rolls out, still selling, gets his Duke raised, and you're selling like a mother trucker in the ring, and you're pissed and frustrated as hell because you just made it look like an idiot. Because you beat him 90% of the match. Different match. So,
Something the crowd hasn't seen already yet.
exactly. Something the crowd hasn't seen yet. The fun part of our business, the part I love more than just about anything, besides the great travels, is the ad-libbing part. Our business is all ad-libbing. You can change things on a dime. That's the fun part of it, is that feel of the crowd when you're in the ring and you go, we're going over here, this shit ain't working. You ready for the ride? Let's take him, let's do a 360. Now, some people get confused sometimes when I say a 360 and we're gonna change the content of the match. Do not, at any point, do not, you could do it in this environment. When you're on TV, it's different. Do not all of a sudden you become the babyface and he becomes the heel because they are telling you that's what they want. Why wouldn't you do that?
You control it. They don't.
Exactly.
dictate
You control, you dictate what they like, what they don't like. Don't ever let the audience dictate what you want. When they start, if you're in a hold and they start chanting, guys get up, hit 2 elbows and they're hitting the rope. No, they're telling you, don't listen to them. Come up, grab the hair, pull them back down. Play with them. You're supposed to be a master puppeteer. You're gonna use them and you're gonna have them stand, cry, happy, sit, bored. You can control all that environment out there. All with this, just your hand, just your fingers, just your mind. It's like an illusionist. And that's a real, when you get to that part of your career, when you can do that and master it, it becomes so, so fun. When you know you could have 10, 15,000 people eating out of the palm of your hand and you could have them reacting to anything you want them to do. Nothing better, no 9-to-5 job's gonna give you that. Not no Rob Feinstein and his taping of videos aren't gonna get, oh, sorry. Exactly. Does everybody understand that? That's real important. A lot of things wrestling schools don't teach you. If you haven't figured it out by now, I'm a real perfectionist about the business. I'm the guy that fine tunes everything. When everything comes through, I'm the last guy you get. So you may be a great worker, but now what I'm gonna do is we're gonna go back and we're gonna change the oil, we're gonna tighten up the spark plugs, we're gonna fine tune everything. Because the difference of a guy that's here and here, or the difference of a guy that's a decent worker, a really good worker, is all the intangibles, it's all those little things. If you do this, it's better. If you do this better, I wouldn't just get up and run, I would sell that. I would do this. And you clean up all that, it makes a difference of a guy that's a really good performer than a guy that's just kind of middle of the road, half-ass. And I don't think anybody should settle for half-ass. If you want to settle for half-ass, you shouldn't be here. Oh shit, there I'm going. You shouldn't be here. Because you should want to be the best you can be. The best, oh shit, now I sound like Bret Hart. Well, you know what I'm talking about. Let's talk about individuals. We'll talk about heels and baby faces. Heels. What makes a good heel?
Hateable.
Huh?
Hateable.
Aidable?
Yeah.
What do you mean aidable?
I mean, you want to hate the guy.
Oh, hateable. I thought you said aidable. I'm like, aidable? What the fuck is that? I'm learning something too. Aidable. Okay. Yeah.
They need to portray themselves as unlikable individuals.
What?
Unlikable individuals.
Yeah. What makes a good heel is to know how to dictate a match, get the match over, work with the babyface, get the babyface over. 9 times out of 10, and the only time this is going to change is if the heel has less experience than the babyface. 9 times out of 10, when you got a veteran heel working with the babyface, that veteran heel is always going to lead the match. He's going to set the tempo of the match. You assume 2 roles when the bell rings. The heel is now going to be the director because he's going to direct traffic, and the babyface is going to be the producer. He's going to help produce this match along with the heel who's going to be the lead guy. 9 times out of 10 when you got more of an experienced guy, or you just got a guy that's a better worker as a heel. Me personally, my whole entire career, I think I've only had maybe one person, I don't even know who that is, I'm being kind, one person, almost 22 years of actual in-ring work, ever lead a match. I always led every single match. Everybody from Eddie Guerrero to Chris Benoit to Chris Jericho to Chavo Guerrero to Rey Mysterio, all let me call the matches. They trusted me because they know that I wasn't in it for myself. I was in it to get the match over, which is a whole nother meeting, another 5 hours, but I'll just touch about it real quick. Your goal every night is to get the match over, not get you over, get the match over. Because not at one time have I ever in the history of this business sat at gorilla position next to Vince or anybody and heard the word, you had a great match, you sucked. That was the shits. No, you guys had a great match. You guys, plural, not singular, you guys had a great match. And when you hear those words, you guys had a great match, what does that mean? That means the match got over. What does that mean? That means both of you won. You may have got your hand raised, but you as a heel, you won along because you were part of that great match. There's a secret to that. I can't tell you it. I have to kill you. No. The secret is to not be selfish and worry about just getting yourself over. The business has never been about one person. It's about getting the match over. Me and you are in a locker room. The only thing we're going to talk, if you're going to have a conversation with me, we're only going to talk about how do we work together for one night to get this match, and me and you walk out together and have this place fucking rocking. That's the only conversation I'm going to have with you. Not, you know, you'll get guys that'll try to push the envelope with you. They'll go, whenever you hear the word but, that's usually not good. This is what I mean. You'll get with a guy that's a little bit of a prima donna and you'll go, hey, listen, you ready tonight? Yeah, I'm ready tonight. What he's really saying is, yeah, I'm ready to look good, screw you. And you'll go, well, I got a couple ideas. Yeah, I like that, but. When you hear the word but, here it comes. The but usually starts the sentence where but, now it becomes, why don't we do this? Why don't we do this usually means, I look good. So I love those games, and I'm pretty good at playing them. I'll sit back and I'll go, okay, got it. You know what? Let's just call it in the ring and walk away. And now I usually just look over my shoulder and the other go, now what the fuck do I do? You can have fun. I've always tried to have fun in the business because that's half the fun of having fun. But you're going to get every walk of life. You're going to get guys that are very difficult to work with, and they're going to want to be all about themselves. You're going to get guys who can be extremely easy, almost sometimes too giving. So that side of the coin, sometimes you got to, hey, come on, man, take something in the match. Don't give me everything. Me and Jericho were having this conversation a couple weeks ago. Me and Eddie were probably the only two guys in the business that would actually fight, not fist fight or physical fight, verbal fight. None of us, we never wanted to win. So if I was working Eddie, he goes, what are you gonna do now? I go, well, why don't you beat me with this? No, well, shit, well, why don't you beat me with, no, I don't want to win. Then Eddie would go, I don't want to win. And I go, well, what do? We just do a draw, we do a Broadway, do a time limit. That's not helping either one of us out. He goes, yeah, but I don't want to win. And like, after a while, like Jericho or somebody would stand there and go, would somebody fucking win the match already? It's driving me nuts. Yeah. But you know, that's just who we are. And that wasn't about winning or losing, just about getting the match over. I got more of a pat on the back or felt good than accomplished something if I got the match over and got my, I loved being in the business more of getting the guy that I was working with over than the match itself sometimes. You know, if I knew that I could go out and make people talking about you, or there's a buzz in the arena when they're walking out going, man, some of the matches with that kid Henry, he grabbed my attention. Fuck you. And he took Dean to the fucking limit. No, Dean helped him get there. But I'd get off on that more than half the times anything else because I enjoyed it. That was my thanks and my feel-good moment that I was able to get somebody over by my knowledge of what I could do in the business. It's very important. Not everybody's like that. I'm not saying I'm different, I'm just saying that was my goals every night. If my job was to get you over, which was most of the time, I was smart enough to know to get myself over in the meanwhile, if you know how to do it right. So don't ever think because your hand's not raised at the end and you're losing the match that you can't get over and move forward. Four Horsemen. Did I ever win much? No. Got beat just about every week on TV. Were they over? Yeah. People still talking about it today as one of the best fractions ever. Yeah. 4 good workers. Yeah. But point is, they got beat every week. So, I know more about those guys now and like them more. Watch their matches. They're more popular because they got beat because they knew how to do it. They knew how to, in terminology we use, they knew how to keep their heat. Yes.
Like on that, like you're trying to get the match over, you're trying to make sure not only get the match over, but your opponent over, you're trying to make yourself look good. Mm-hmm. Should you go in there thinking about what moves I should do? Like normally, like I'm in a tag team, I know there's some moves that we do. It's like, all right, if we do this, people are being like lose their shit over this move. So maybe we shouldn't do that. We're supposed to be the heels. We're supposed to be making
Right.
him look good.
Right.
Should I go into it thinking that way, or should I just go, damn, that just who I know people want to see?
Yeah, so sometimes depending on who you're working with, again, the depending word is, again, there's so many different little quirks about our business. Like, it's sometimes it's very hard to figure out. This is where guys really struggle with starting in the business. Is like, what do I do? What's right? What's wrong? I don't know. Sometimes there isn't a right or wrong. The right in that situation would be, if you know the office is looking to get this team over, you're going to change your style. You're probably not going to do some stuff because they're really cool. Too many heels nowadays do things in a cutoff spot or a heat spot that is so cool. When the audience goes, wow, that's cool, you're done. There's no heat in that. The only heat you're going to get is from your producer in the company because you did something, you made that guy a babyface. That's not what I want as a babyface. Because some guys have trouble being a heel. They really don't want to be a heel. There's this certain part of the back of their head that says, I want to be cheered, but I can't say it because they'll think I'm a prima donna. You get a lot of guys that are really like this guy just came out of the closet as a babyface. A lot of closet babyface, but they won't just say it because you're telling them to be a heel, or you think that guy thinks you're good as a heel. Sometimes you just got to change the philosophy. Why am I? Go ahead.
Sorry, like you wrestled so many good matches with so many people, different styles. Like, how did you approach those matches with different styles and like try to get them to work with you?
You got a baseball team, you got a football team, you have a hockey team. This team is playing this team. They play a little closer to the boards, they play a little rough. This team plays a little different, this team plays a little different. Point being, everybody that you get in the ring is different. That's the word adapt. I have to adapt to everybody. I may have, in Japan, the great thing I love to work in Japan, every night you had a different opponent. So one night I'd be working Jushin Thunder Liger, the next night I'd be working Dr. Death Steve Williams. Are they anything alike? Hell no. One could kill you, one could kiss you. You figure it out, okay? Do I have to adapt? Yeah, if I want to keep breathing by the end of the match, pretty much. That's when you have to figure things out. I can't have the same match with this guy and this guy. But not a funny story, but kind of something what I was saying. I said this yesterday. Sometimes you get excited when you get in the business later on and of guys that either A, you've always wanted to wrestle and you finally get that opportunity, or just somebody that you see and go, I could have a good match with him. When I was working in WCW, I worked a lot with Rey Mysterio, of course. Loved working with Rey. So I thought when I was watching Juventud Guerrera, I was thinking, I could probably have a good match with Juventud because he's kind of like Rey. Wrong answer. He's not. Nobody's like Rey. Rey is in a class by himself. I went out there and had a stinker. I came back, not disappointed in myself. I'm like, I'll be the first one to admit I'm wrong. It's hard for me to admit I'm wrong, but I'll do it. That was wrong. I could not have a good match with him, but that's okay. There's some guys that you'll click with. There's some guys you'll think, well, this can be the shits, but we'll go out there. It ends up being better than we thought. It's like when you watch stuff back on video. In your mind, you're disappointed, then you watch it back going, it's not as bad as I thought it was. Or vice versa. It's a lot worse than I thought it was. I thought it was good. You thought it was good? Here, come here. You should watch this. Holy shit, you're right, that sucked. Only because you wanted to be good because you kind of heard the crowd a little bit.
In terms of getting the match over, like as a heel working with a baby face, sometimes when working with like a newer person in the business, they like might not know what to do.
Right.
And you're in the position of like having to call their moves. How would you deal with that?
Said this yesterday again. First things I do if I have a match as a producer and I'm working with a guy that never really worked and he's working with a veteran guy, or let's say I'm in the match. So what's your first name? Dante. So I'm working Dante. I'm a veteran guy. I've been working 15 years. Dante just came aboard. He's been about a year's experience. Holy shit. No. So I'm gonna go up to Dante and the first thing I'm gonna say is, take a deep breath. We're gonna have fun. Relax out there. Just listen to me. Just put everything in my hand and I'll guide you through it. Because if he looks like crap, I'm guilty by association because I'm out there with him. So I have to make sure he does the best he can because I got to protect my investment. My investment at that time is me. So when I'm going to go to Dante, I'm going to say, Dante, what do you do? What do you do well? Do a drop kick. Do a drop kick off the top. How's your punches? What have you been doing for a comeback? Have you been working as a heel? I'm going to get as much information as I can from Dante. And then I'm going to walk away. Then I'm going to play the video game. Video game is I'm going to have this video recorder in my head. And I'm going to run through my match with Dante, taking all his moves in a little Rolodex, not a Rolex, it's a watch, Rolodex, Dante does the drop kick well. At least he told me he did. I'm hoping to God he does. 'Cause that's a whole nother story we'll get into. He can give a hell of a back drop. He does a hell of a kick. He does this with it. Okay? So I'm going to walk away being the veteran guy. I'm going to come back and go, Dante, listen, this is what we're going to do. When the time is right, I'm going to miss this. You're going to make a slow progression and come back. I'll tell you to stay on me. I'll coach you right there. Just listen to me. It's all you got to do. And I'll call the whole thing, and I'll guide him right in for the landing, and nobody gets hurt. The plane didn't crash. That's kind of what I do. That's the right thing to do because I want to take care of him. Now, go back to what I just said. He tells me he can do a 1.5, 450, 960, 1230, whatever the numbers are these days off the top rope. And I'm looking at him dead in the eye, and I know he's full of shit. Because he's going to want to do that because he's going to want to get recognized. So if he can do the ultimate move, and guys, wipe that off your head. There is no ultimate move. One move does not get you a job. It gets you injured most of the time. If you're trying to do one move, and I'll know you're full of shit, I'm going to go, you know what? Let's be safe, then sorry. Okay? Because if we screw that up, this may be your last chance. So if you got a first chance here, let's make the best of it. Let's keep things grounded. Let's keep things easy, simple. Let's just get through it. Just trust me. And that's the way I'll handle that. Or it's hard to practice stuff during the day. It's hard to practice like a 450 when you're cold. I get that. But if there's something that I might question, I'll go, hey, let's go in the ring. Do it on me. Because like my style of work is, if you remember watching me, I would always do things different all the time. I always try to make a mental note. If I was wrestling in Hazeltown, PA, on 1 month and I was back there 3 months later, I would remember in my head, this is when I didn't have dementia and I got old, that I could actually remember pretty much everything I did verbatim that last time I was there, give that crowd, if there was one person in that crowd that paid before, I'll deal with that one person and give him a whole different product. I just like doing that. I just thought that was kind of cool to always remember and give the audience something different all the time, so always keep their attention. What's Dean gonna do now? Another way to grab their attention and have them looking at you. Any questions? Move on. Yeah.
How do you figure out what to do differently from what you did the night before? Like, let's say you're working a similar crowd,
Right.
same town, same building. Like, how would you figure out how can I make the match I had last night different from the match I'm going to have tonight?
Everybody hear that question? You said almost the fact that, like, how do I know, like, going from town to town, night to night, how's the crowd different, how to change stuff? First of all, you guys should be changing stuff. Even at a big man's level, work for WWE, guys working for 20 years, they all have the tendency on a three-day live event or house show, whatever you want to call it, non-televised, to do the same match every single night, verbatim, from bell to bell. You don't grow as a performer when you do that. You use live events as a chance and a place, and this ring here and your small shows that you do, use those as a vehicle to practice stuff. See what works, see what doesn't work. Again, that's half the fun of the business. So, I call it the filing cabinet. You put a match together, you had certain moves, you had certain spots that you caught with the guy. When the match is over, you realize that didn't work. Check the box, that file didn't work, go in the garbage, I ain't doing that spot again with you. Or, that spot worked really well, we got the people, it was cool, put that in the file, that worked. Now, that worked, so now I'm gonna have some fun with it. Take the same spot the next day, tweak it, turn it, fix it, manipulate it, change it. Put this here, put this here, put this here, play with it and see if that's gonna work. Don't just be satisfied, yeah, I got a reaction, try something else different. Quick, funny story, I like telling stories because I think it breaks up the monotony of teaching. I was working Eddie one night, many nights of course, and we had a lot of fun always going out, just trying different stuff. Half the time we just fell into stuff and we look at each other like, that was cool, how do we do that? And we go, I don't know. Do you remember? No, I don't know, whatever. We were in Rochester, New York, the Blue Cross Arena. How I remember shit like that, I don't know. At a live event, of course it had to be sold out to the rafters. Everybody has to say that. I was working Eddie, probably about 10 minutes in. Something happened, he went for a run or something, my hand got caught in his pants, or that sounds funny, in his leg or something, whatever. We ended up doing something really cool, we both ended up falling on the mat, and the crowd just went nuts. I'm like, And he goes, what did you do? I go, and I turned my head and I looked in the crowd. There's a blonde-headed girl with no bra on, lifting her shirt, shaking her, and the whole crowd was popping and reacting to her. Weren't even looking at the ring. So the reaction was not what we just did. The reaction was out in the crowd. If you know Eddie had a short fuse. Eddie was so hot at the girl because she took the eyes and the story away from the match. He's trying to get out of the ring to go run after her, and I'm holding him down in the ring going, Eddie, stop, let's finish the match. Great night, fun night, good story. But point being is, you try different stuff all the time, and if it works, you don't. Because what happens is, on that live event loop, sometimes the same guy that you work with those 3 days will be the same guy when you get to TV that you're gonna work with. So at least you had a 3-day run, but don't do the same match, see what else works when you go to TV and they ask you, this is the blueprint of the match we're looking for. I could do this, this, and this, you know? Change, as long as the finish doesn't change. If I'm working with you and we know I'm the guy supposed to get over, you're there to help me, I should win every night. That's not gonna change. Don't ever change the finish because that's a no. But you could change the whole complexion of the match and make it totally different. Now, 50 miles from town to town could be a whole different thing. You could go to one town and they could love wrestling. They could love the technical aspect of it. 50 miles down the road, they could hate wrestling and all they want is haha. All they want is fun stuff. 25 miles down the road, all they want is blood and guts and tables. So every night, it's the box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. So you gotta kind of listen to the crowd. That's your homework every night. Guys ask me, well, how do I get better? You want to get better? You watch guys that are better than you. You work with guys better than you. You sit back, every night we always had a monitor, still do. You watch the monitor, out of respect, you don't leave the arena. After the first match, you don't pack your bags and leave. Big no-no. Because somebody sees you leave, that person can tell someone in the locker room before you know it, you're dead meat. You stay there, you sit in front, you're polite, you watch the matches, see how these guys got over. There's a reason why you run first and the guy you're watching in the camera is the last guy, main event, because he earned his stripes. I want to watch him and see what he does so I could be there. And when that guy comes to the curtain, I could tell you every night John Cena, when he came to the curtain, the first thing he did was go. You want to see who was sitting in front of the TV for a reason. And then if you weren't, the next day he may have a conversation with you because he was a locker room leader, one of them. Then you got to explain to him why it was important for you to get in the car and leave when everybody else got to get in the car, travel the same distance. So you better find some really good excuse, like your dog ate your homework, or mom didn't pack your lunch, something that's really viable, because none of those excuses work. It's been gone for a while, but it used to be mandatory that you sit there and watch all the matches before you left. So rule of thumb, if you ever get that opportunity, Dean said, I better sit in front of the monitor and watch the match, or I'm gonna get heat. Thank you, Dean. Okay. Let's go to baby faces. What's the most important thing as a baby face that you have to do? Sell. What?
Sell.
God, you guys are so good, so in tune to what I'm doing. If you can sell, you are 95% there. It's that simple. That's really the bulk of being a babyface, just selling. If you can convince somebody in that crowd, and it's hard because it's the same crowd that knows this business is bullshit, because we told them, everybody's told them, that what we do is entertainment, it's not real, it's choreographed. Do not say the word that starts with an F, A, K, ooh. I don't like that. That was a bad word to say back in the 70s, because you got beat up. That's before social media. I just hate the word because I don't think it describes anything of what we do. If you want to say choreographed, kind of like stunt work with a mix of Cirque du Soleil, and you want to put a little spin on it, you can do that. Don't ever use the word, I don't like it. A lot of the older guys hate it because it does not describe our business. Definitely not anymore. They maybe did at one point, but not a good word to use. If you could sell. If you sell, you master being a babyface. You're more than halfway there. You sell with your head up. Always got to see your face. Always remember, here's a little tidbit, and I'll give you things to help you guys. When you're on TV, you are out there with the camera. As soon as you walk through the curtain, And as soon as you walk back through the curtain, that last step that puts you back out of the arena, back into the gorilla position, camera's still on you. So what do I mean by that? You are selling the entire time. So when the bell rings, you just can't go from a sell to, hey, I'm good, hey, please. Dean's pet peeves, I'll get about 5 of them, think I'm maybe on 2. Babyface got his ass beat by a heel, but pulled one out, pulled a rabbit out of his hat at the end. He's on a cell, and somebody hits his music. I do prefer, in my opinion, I don't like hitting a babyface's music at the end, because usually it's very uplifting, and the babyface now becomes the star, starts high-fiving and autographing people on the way out, and you just shit all over the heel you just work with that just beat you up and got a ton of heat. Everybody get that? Real bad no-no, guys. You sell all the way through the curtain. There was a time you sold 24/7 to the airports, through a car, through a strip club, through a restaurant. Your ass was selling. You had a crutch, you had a neck piece, you never took that sucker off, because you never let one person in the general public ever view you without that on, because we have to play our role. Nowadays, that's part of the business is kind of gone. Not kind of gone, it is gone. There's still some people that still like, I like doing that because I want to be different, and that's cool, man. Vicky Guerrero was probably the last person, hell, she wasn't even in the business, was wearing a neck collar at the airport, and I'm like, man, I'm like trying to get the guys. Excuse me. No, just kidding. Look, hello, guys. Look what she's doing. And she's not even one of you guys, but she's smart enough to know, take that. Now people are gonna bite on it, they're gonna go, I'm kind of, you know what? Maybe that is real. I don't know. Unless I ask her, but she ain't gonna tell me. But I'm, because I'm figuring they don't do that anymore, but she's wearing it the next day. And so as long as you got the or that question in your head, they're gonna bite on this maybe real. Go back to babyface again. Selling, making a comeback. When to know make a comeback. No zero to hero, we've probably all heard that 1,000 times in here. It still rings true. The audience cannot understand or digest or articulate why you just got your ass handed to you for 5 minutes, and in 2 seconds flat, you got healed and you are fine. Can't. There's only a couple guys in the business that can do that. John Cena's one of them, only because it works for him. Is it right? It doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. Argue with the guy that makes $10, $50 million a year that what he's doing is wrong. Don't want to go there. Kind of stupid. I'm not going to win the argument. But that's just life. It's just the way it is. Not everybody can be that way. Make a comeback that goes like this, not go straight up this way. So if you're at 80% at the beginning of the comeback, you're at 80, you're at 60, you're at 40, you're at 20. What is Dean saying? Little by little, as you're fighting and making your comeback, you're getting more and more power. And this allows the audience to get behind you. If you just go from here to here, can't do that. Now, here's the other question that pops in. I got a 2.5 minute match. How in the hell do I do that? You don't. Good luck, you're on your own. No, very difficult. Babyface, pretty simple. If you can just sell, always keep your head up, always find the camera. I need to see your face. A lot of guys have long hair and they put their head down, their hair covers their face. If I don't see your face, I don't know what you're doing. You can be smiling, laughing, whatever. This is where you make your money. It tells you if you're hurt, it tells you if you're disappointed, it tells you if you're happy, if you're sad, if you're pissed. It shows every emotion known to mankind in this little area. So I need to see your face. If you're grimacing in pain, that lets me know you're hurt. If you're in the ring like this, and you're smiling, and the camera's like on me like that, it doesn't look like I'm too hurt. So always remember and always think in your head, I'll get to you, the camera is right here at all times. Don't think there's a camera over there so I can talk to the guy. Always think in your head and you'll never go wrong. The camera's right here. As soon as you walk out till the time you walk back. Camera's right in your face. Yeah.
So you would say that your face helps tell the story.
God, this guy's brilliant. Yes, I'm just teasing. Yes, exactly. Big time tell the story.
What about for masked wrestlers?
For what?
What about for masked wrestlers? Like their mask covers their face.
Their face wouldn't tell the story because they got a mask on. God. Yeah. Very difficult. So what do you do if you're a masked wrestler? Good question. How many guys here wear a mask? You should. No. Just one guy wears a mask? I don't mean to rob a bank. I mean, like, when you wear a mask, you wear a mask to the ring. You wear a mask?
My other character.
Your other character. Your other
I got
character.
like,
Okay, so you're Sybil, you got like 22 characters. I got it.
I got two characters. I got my main character, and then I got my used as a throwaway character. So
I got you. So you're like a character upon a character. I got it. So if you have a mask on, I can't see your face, what do you do to sell? Anybody wants to tell me? What do you think you should do? Body mechanics. Who's the best guy ever to wear a mask to feel that? Rey Mysterio. You guys are so good. Ray, bar none, best ever in the history of a guy wearing a mask. Nobody can touch him. Because he's so good at what he does from a babyface standpoint and selling. I forget that he has a mask on. I can actually visualize his face with him selling his body and his mechanics and his chemistry and his mannerisms, the way he sells. I could feel for that, and he's the only guy ever in the business with a mask that I've ever been able to feel that. Me personally, and the crowd too. He's a master at that. One of the rare guys that gets it. Okay, let's break for a second. Psychology. When you're putting together a match. Always, once you put together your match and you have it done, walk away and use that video aspect I was telling you earlier. Close your eyes, do whatever you want to do. Run that match through your mind. Have the match in your mind, let it play out. Now start doing a checklist. Now start feeling things. Start asking questions. Does that feel like it's too many reversals? Damn, we got 6 reversals in the last 30 seconds of the match. That doesn't make any sense, okay? Don't make any sense. What do I got to do to fix it? Let's just shoot me and we don't have to do the reversal there. Is there too many super kicks? Yeah. And you're kicking me, then I'm kicking you. Now we get back up. Now we're running again. We just do super kicks away. Not good psychology. That doesn't work. You go back and you analyze the match and you go back and you pick it apart. Too many reversals. How many times have you... Hindsight is a big part of our business, where I can't tell you how many times guys had matches and they come back and go, did you not know there was 20 reversals in the last minute of your match? And they go, really? Shit, you're right. Like, eliminate it. They don't make sense. It falls under the it doesn't make sense character. Only because you want to get back up on the guy. You could actually grab a guy and throw him in, have him come off and actually do something to him. You don't have to get the reversal to get back to that guy again. Because that always looks like nobody's in control. If you're in control, you'd be the guy to throw the guy in, not off a reversal. Okay? So always go through that checklist. Nothing should be done more than in concession of 3. What do I mean? No more than 3 slams. No more than 3 dropped elbows. Because what happens is, if you start doing the same thing over and over again, it gets redundant. I've already seen it. It's not going to get a better or bigger reaction than the first time done. Hold on one second. I'll get to you. If I'm in the corner and I'm kicking a guy 40 times, the only one he can sell is the first time. Because after that, he's not selling anything, it's just 40 kicks. You punch the guy 10 times, you can only sell like the last one, because you can't sell the other ones because you're smothering him to death. So you got to think less is more. Shawn Michaels probably one of the rare guys that you could punch him one time and he could get a mile out of it. He can get 5 minutes out of one punch because he makes it look so real and he sells it so well. It doesn't have to do 30 to 40 things to make me believe that he's hurt. Everybody understand that or know exactly what I'm talking about? People think more is better, and you probably heard this 1,000 times, and you'll continue to hear this 1,000 times. Less is definitely more. And when I talk about less stature and Shannon Moore, I'm talking about less is more. Like that one. It's a good one, huh? It's so true every single night. It just works. If I do something to you and I let you sell it and don't smother me, and I get all we can out of that one move, now I can do less. The longevity of my career is going to last longer because I'm not taking as many bumps. I can do less and still get over. I don't have to work as hard. Wherever you're at on the totem pole, or wherever you're at on the ladder, if you're the top guy, you don't have to do a whole lot because the people already like you. What you do, you got to do it with conviction, and you got to have some fire behind it, some passion. But movement-wise, you don't have to do as much as you did before to try to get noticed. You can do just enough to stay there. So your workload becomes a little less backdrops, less waking up in the morning, grabbing the chair in the hotel room to pull over so you can get out of bed. I've never done that. Twice. Because you got to think longevity. If you want to be in this business 10, 15, 20 years, you got to know how to bump right. It's like brakes in a car. It's brake pads. Every time you take a bump, those brake pads wear thin. Then later on, you see all the old guys, their legs are out like it's like they got off a horse because their hips are so messed up because they took shitty bumps from day one. You create a habit. Now your back hurts, your ass hurts, your arm hurts, and you haven't had one fucking match in the business yet. You're up shit's creek quick. You're hurting before you had a first match. So it's real important when guys tell you and they're training you, learn how to bump, learn how to fall, learn to be careful, take risk factors out, don't do stupid things because you want to get noticed. You can get noticed having a good match. You don't have to look at the people and tell the people they're stupid. You don't have to tell the people they're fat. You don't have to tell the people I would never live here in a million years. That's such old bullshit. Does it get a reaction? Yeah. But be a little more sophisticated, be a little smarter. If you want to get over with your work. If you can't, then you shouldn't be in the business. If you need a crutch every night, sometimes it's okay, depending upon who you are. 8 times out of 10, because I leave 9 times out of 10 too much. 8 times out of 10, it's not going to work. People will hate you more because it's their choice. When you get shoved down somebody's throat as a fan, I'm not going to take it because now you're dictating to me as a fan. Fans don't like to be dictated to. Don't tell them who to like or who to hate when they're paying the money to get in the door. Don't tell the band to sing certain songs when they're going to come and they're going to play for you. Everybody understand this? These are all like really important things, probably you heard before, and if I say it and I duplicate what someone else said before me, that's great. That means they're right. Because most guys that have been around for long enough, we all pretty much agree, like all the producers that I was with for the last 18 years, from Arn Anderson to Mike Rotunda to Fifth Finley to Jamie Noble to Devon to Ricky Steamboat was one, Steve Kern, Tully Blanchard, Jimmy Garver. God, darn, I had a lot of guys at the time. We all had one common denominator, and that was pretty much the philosophy and the thought process of the business. Maybe had different ways of doing things, but pretty much bell to bell, we're all that same ring psychology, because we're all about the same age, all grew up in the same environment and era where you told stories. It's not about flip-flopping and flying, I call it. Not that that isn't wanted or can't be done, or not that you shouldn't do stuff like that, because that's who you are. I try to get guys just to pull back a little bit and get the most you can out of one thing. If you go out and you give me 4 or 5 things so damn quick, I can't digest it. Impossible. It's impossible. Okay. One of the most important things you'll learn here, or I'll tell you, is this is hints from Heloise. It's one of my little tidbits of helping you guys out, structuring a match, and remembering a match, and putting a match together. Putting a match together, you'll hear several times it's like making a movie, it's like reading a book or writing a book. That's the one I like the best because it has so many correlations with each other. If you're in a match and you're just doing spot after spot after spot after spot, and there's no commas or periods, it's one long, giant paragraph that's 2-3 pages long, and when you're done and you're already winded and you go, and somebody says, what did you read? You go, I have not a clue. Why does that happen? Because there's no commas and periods. What does commas and periods mean? If you read a book and you're reading a sentence and you stop a guy, that's a comma. If you're reading a book and you read on the next line, now I know I can digest what I just read that helps me tell the story. And you cover a guy, 1, 2, kick out, grab a hold, that's your period. That's the end of the sentence. Start your next sentence. Periods and commas put into a match to stop for a second so I can take a breather, number one, but not the most important number one. Number one, or close number one would be, so I can digest, the audience can digest what you did. If they're just sitting there watching a tennis match and going like this, their neck hurts, so now they're irritable. Now they really don't want to watch it, screw you. I can't digest what the hell you're doing because you're going too damn fast. Fast when you need it, slow when you need it. You gotta let the audience digest what you did. There's so many matches and you guys see it, I ain't gonna tell you. I see one of these independent guys, They're going out with 6-mans, 8-mans. Everybody's in the ring. It's almost like lucha style now. Everybody's doing their shit, and wow, that's cool. Woo, wow, woo, wow. It's over. What did I just watch? I had no clue what I just watched. The only thing I remember is that was pretty cool, and that guy almost killed himself. I don't want to remember that. I remember if a trained guy with a trained eye or the owner of a company clicks on a headset and says, Dean, who's legal? And I answer, I have not a clue. If I lose the fact of who the two legal guys are, your story's done. Your story's ended. Because I can only watch one thing at a time. These guys are fighting, these guys are over here, these guys are over. Now it's the three-ring circus. So now I've lost sight of who's legal. So you took me out of the story. And now you're just doing a whole bunch of crazy shit for the sake of doing crazy shit. That looks cool and you probably get hurt doing it, but they mean absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. When you do something cool and there's no response, they're telling you something. I don't give a shit. If you're telling a story and they being the audience, can sink their teeth in what you're saying, got them. I could never stress enough. That probably, if you walk out here and that's the only thing you get, that's the most important thing you get. Does everybody understand that? Everybody see that when you watch matches, and you're probably part of it. Sometimes guilty by association. Like, it's hard, and I get it. It's hard if I'm one guy that I believe in this, and the other 5 guys I'm working with in a 6-man tag think I'm an idiot for saying that. So I can't control 5 guys. I can control 1, maybe 2. Hell, I can barely control my kids, and they're all grown up. But that's really one of the most important things you can do. So when you put stuff together and you go, okay, we're going to do this big thing. Should I sell it? Should I get everything I can get out of it? Should the heel go in there and crowd the guy? No, as soon as you crowd him and pick him up, he stops selling. You know. Again, work together as a unit. You win together, you lose together. Any other questions? I got a little more stuff.
In big matches like that, to that point, and again, getting the match over, do you kind of go with the guys that want to do all this crazy stuff, and when you're trying to talk logic or make sense, do you just go with it for the sake of the match?
I put somebody else in my role. I would take myself out of the role of being part of that. Take somebody, maybe just go outside. It's, again, we're going back to there's so many if factors, and what do you do, and you can't look like a prima donna, and you can't look like, you're going to tell somebody, well, I'm not doing that, because now everybody's going to look at you like, who the fuck are you? So there's a lot of things that don't have answers. You just kind of got to do the right thing as best you can for you. If you know something's if you know there's something that I'm gonna do and you're really uncomfortable with it and you think you could get hurt and you're just scared of it, guys, speak up, because the guy you're working with is not gonna know that. And if you don't tell him and you do it, and now you're walking out, you're not walking out, you're in a wheelchair for life, you're gonna wish to God you would have said something. I always, no matter who I worked, even if it's a veteran guy, and I didn't do really crazy shit anyway, I'd always say, are you comfortable with everything? Let him know that you know that he's comfortable. 2 seconds. Anybody ever remember the stuff with, I can't remember the guy's name. I was refereeing for WWE, WWF at the time in Tampa at the Sundome. It was the Rockers against Lanny Poffo and this guy by the name of Chuck somebody, I can't remember, he was a local guy from Miami. They were doing the rocker dropper, if guys remember that. You put the leg around the guy's back of his neck, kick the other leg out, ride him down, cover him, 1, 2, 3. What they were gonna do the night was do the rocker dropper, tag to Sean comes off, drops the big elbow, he gets to cover 1, 2, 3. Chuck Austin. What happened was that night is they went back to Chuck several times and said, do you feel comfortable with the rocker dropper? Because it's pretty clear cut. You bend over, put your right leg over, kick your left leg out, and you kick it, it's almost like a pedigree. Almost exactly, the bump is exactly pedigree. Kick your legs out, take a flat bump. He told Marty at least 5 or 6 times during the day, and Marty was more than nice to him. You sure you got it? You okay? Probably should have practiced it maybe, but it's such a simple move that like you just figure or just take it for granted the guy could do it. So what happened was, I don't think anybody here knows the story. Maybe, it was so long ago, is when Marty did it, the guy jumped and tucked his head, trying to make the bump bigger than what it was. He ended up being a paraplegic for life. Sued the company for $21 million. How do I know this? I was an expert witness. I actually had a wrestling mat in the courtroom, and I had Marty show it to me. I was there to tell that anybody could do this move. It was very simple. It wasn't something that was so outlandish. It was something that I would have taught you on day one of your wrestling school experience. And that was just as simple as going, okay, let's tie up, let's do some rolls, and headlock takedown, and here's a way to take you down. It's that simple. They were just trying to figure out if it was so intricate and stuff, why would you dare let a guy do that to a guy? So that's where my role came into it. Not to be morbid and bring that up, but my point is always make sure when you're working with guys, if you got something crazy, you're doing a hurricanrana to the outside over a fence rail into somebody's purse, you might want to think twice of, okay, it looks cool, I'm sorry, but I got a booking tomorrow. I kind of want to make it. I got kids at home and a family, and they rely on my paycheck. When there's a million other things you can do that's safe. Okay? Go ahead. Sorry.
If I could just go back to earlier on, you said that one move isn't going to get you a job.
Right.
Like, I know you probably answered my question like throughout this whole summer, but
What'll get your job?
Yeah,
2 moves. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, because everybody's like, if I could just do that one thing, if I could just do a nip and a tuck and a twist. It's going to get you a job is somebody, okay, I'm going to tell you, this is the honest to God truth. There's a couple factors in getting a job. Cosmetically, you look good. You can wrestle. You're just a good person. You're no trouble. These are the big ones. Right place at the right time. And number 1, lucky as hell. Why do I say that? There's only so many positions on a baseball field. There's only so many positions on a football field. There's only so many guys on a lineup. As it is now, you notice when you think back of the roster of WWE, there's a lot of guys that you're going, whatever happened to? Shit, I haven't seen him on TV, he's really good. There's so many guys, they don't know what to do with half of them. It's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing that you got guys that you can, like a relief pitcher, you can pull off the bench that actually can work. But those guys don't like it because they want to work. Yeah, you're getting paid, and I get that. Again, everybody's got their own meaning of success. I worked in WCW and was making 6 figures, really good money. I should have more money than I was making in Japan, to be honest. But when all that was said and done, at the end of the day, when it was sold and I sat back and I thought, and started looking over my career, I was more happy in Japan making 1/3 of the money I was making. My wife don't agree with this. 1/3 of the money I was making, and much happier in the environment that I was in working in Japan. So if anything, life teaches you sometimes it's not about the money, even though money does help. I'm not gonna be stupid in the same breath. Ricky Choshu was one of my last bookers, one of the last guys in charge. One of the best guys I think I've ever worked for. Extremely honest. He told me and Chris and Eddie when we left, he goes, guys, I can't pay you that kind of money. Go there, work. If you ever get screwed, anything ever happens, you always have a job here for life as long as I got a breath in me. Not many guys have ever told me that in my career. Pretty damn cool. So I always knew I had an insurance policy. But point being is that I was a lot happier over here making 1/3, and I mean 1/3 of the money I was making. So, you know, is it about the money? Is it about the notoriety, winning the title? You don't really win a title, somebody puts your pencil name in it. So that's really kind of But you can earn it by busting your ass. So there's a lot of factors of making it. You know, being at the right place, right time is always great. It's like any other business. You know, you can walk into a business and before you walked in looking for a job, this guy's got 3,000 applicants in his desk. But you just walked in 10 minutes before somebody got fired and, hey, free tomorrow? You start tomorrow? Even though there's 3,000 other people were there way before you do and maybe more qualified. You just happen to walk in the day. Perfect timing. That's our business about. James Ellsworth saw his picture last night, started laughing. There's a guy, just great timing. Work with Braun or something like that, somebody noticed him and just happened to be right place at the right time. And I like this kid, man, let's do something with him. He got his 15 minutes of fame, maybe 16 minutes. I'll give him an extra minute. And a great kid, and people loved him there. Guys love working with him, very humble, very respectful for the business. He's not around anymore, but you know, we know why. but he served his purpose, and probably a dream that he thought he'd never in a million years do. Hell, it beat AJ twice. Pretty damn good. Any other questions? Yeah.
How do you keep a job?
How do you keep a job? You ass kiss your ass. No. You work hard every night. You give 110%. You don't give anybody a reason to fire you. I used to say, thought it was my phone. I used to tell Eddie this and tell guys that are very close to me. Eddie was one of those guys that was always wore his feelings on his sleeve and very critical of his work. And sometimes difficult with that, but I was always a good angel that sat on his shoulder that said, Eddie, stop it, you're one of the best workers ever. Is that I always tell him, once you get inside these ropes, nobody can touch you. Nobody. This is my office. When I go to work, I don't care who's talking about me. You can try to fire me, you can do whatever. You can't touch me when I'm there and that bell rings. That's my environment. And that's where Eddie exceeded. As long as you work hard every single night and you bust your ass, and there's no way in God's name that they come up with a reason why they should fire you. You know, as long as you don't do anything. If you give them a reason, that's different. The way WWE works is that they have writers, creative writers, and you come up with ideas, you present it. You might have somebody that's in charge of you. Like there's certain people that are assigned to certain people. Certain writers are assigned to certain talents. And then you'll present them something, they'll look at it, hopefully, and they'll filter through it. Should you just try once? No. Should you just try twice? Try 3 times? No. Just keep doing it until somebody, because at the end of the day, when somebody says, well, it wasn't up to me to make you, it was up to you because I just gave you the tools. Then you could say, and keep all your stuff intact, keep all your texts, emails together, and you can present it going, look, I sent you 100 ideas in the last year. That's my point of, don't ever give them anything to say, well, you never tried to better yourself. You never came up with a story. So shame on you. It's your fault. No. Cover every avenue you can possibly. Go up 110% every night, bust your ass. If your job is to get this guy over, you get him over. You show up on time. Yes, sir, no, sir. Have a smile on your face at work. Give ideas. Don't give them any reason at all. Because you could always use that. Like, well, hey, I contributed everything I could. And you can feel proud of yourself for doing that. If you don't give it all you got and you fail, that's different. If you give everything you got and you fail, I could still pat you on the back because you did everything possible that you could do. Got it? You okay? Okay, good. Real quick, just to touch on tag team wrestling because a bunch of guys asked me yesterday. And tag team wrestling is really cool. I like it just as much as single matches. I know AEW is really going to strive to really put that on the map. There's some really good tag teams I'm really excited about working with. Tag team wrestling is a total different animal than single matches because now you got 4 guys to worry about. We're going to just talk about a regular tag of 2-on-2. Number 1, you got to look and gel and work like a team. So if you win like a team, you lose like a team. You get heat like a team, you sell like a team. Make a comeback like a team. 2 guys walk out too many times, 1 guy's in front of the other guy by 10 feet. And I'll yell at the referee through a headset, get those guys together. I want, in a shot or a camera shot, I want to make sure I always see 2 guys together. That's your team, okay? When that's your team, then I know it's a tag team. Same thing when you get in the ring, don't one guy go to the ropes over here, one guy go to another area code, stay together. I'm not saying you gotta be Siamese twins, put your arms around each other, look and present yourself like a tag team. God, it's hot here. When you do that, you're presenting yourself as a tag team. So, kind of a blueprint would be get the baby faces looking good, let them do tag team stuff. It's not 2 single matches in 1 match. Remember that. You're not doing 2 single matches in 1 match, you're doing a tag match. So, as a baby face, my partner gets hit, I feel his pain. I'm selling for him. I'm cheering for him. You just can't stand on the ring apron and not do anything. The most important thing, this is probably number 3 of my pet peeves, number 4. When you are selling and you're reaching out to make a tag, and I guarantee you I can look at faces, and instead of going out and make a tag when you got a wide open spot right in front of you, you would rather punch the guy, get thrown into a turnbuckle, kick a guy, come off the top, and do a hurricanrana into a DDT spin, and now go tag the guy. What I mean by that, you're getting your pop. You're more worried about getting your shit in and getting a pop before you tag the guy. If that's me on the apron and you do that, when you get close to me, I am jumping off the apron and looking at you and saying, you look like you got it. You don't need me. And I've done that before. That's, first of all, it's disrespect to the match, disrespect to your partner, because you're building the heat for one thing and one thing only. Your major goal is when that hot tag, and hot tag, not lukewarm, not ice cold, when that tag happens, that place roars. Too many times guys will get tagged and they'll come back and they'll go, did you hear it? I go, what, a fart? I didn't hear nothing. Once the dirt dead, after that tag, the match is dead. The only thing you should do if you're the babyface getting heat on is sell. This is what we said earlier in a single match, sell. I'm in the corner, I got a guy coming at me, I give him an elbow, he fades back, I turn, I go right down the line, try to tag. I don't give the guy an elbow, now he's this far away from me. There's the guy, if I tag him, he gets in, he's the fresh guy, I bring my ass beat. I'm gonna go to you to grab you, to shoot you, reverse it. So I do a spot, which is stupid as shit. Again, the audience can't articulate it, but they know that was wrong. Why didn't he just go over here? He's been going over the whole match, wide opening spot, but I'm gonna go over here to do a spot. Everybody get that? Guarantee you, at least one guy in here has done it and still does it. If you want to collapse and use the ropes, use the, it's almost, think of the guy in the desert and he's thirsty as shit and he's hot. It's kind of like me now. And he's thirsty, he's hot, and he's just crawling. Same thing here. You're just crawling, you're using the mat, you're using the ring curtain, everything you can in your power, using the ropes to pull up to make that tag. It's all drama. And you're building the story. When you're finally there, you're just this close to this close. You're just about there, a guy comes around, knocks this guy off, shit, he dives, nobody home. You're building and building and building. You're building for what? That one moment that you spend the whole entire match to get, that's the pop on the hot tag. Now you gotta think, what do I do after the hot tag? What do I gotta do to sustain the excitement level? Do not do a cover. I see too many guys do two things to get a cover. The cover's a period, so now the sentence is over. This is the part where you can kind of like run into lines a little bit, like in a book, you don't need a comma. It should just be, take me on a ride. If you beat my ass for 4 minutes, you gotta have one hell of a comeback, because people are sitting there waiting for it. If the heat was a minute, comeback doesn't be that great, because it should kind of, I don't have like a ratio of like 60% to 20%, but the comeback should kind of like coincide to how long the heat was. If you beat my partner's ass for 6 minutes, holy shit, when you come in, you should tear the house down. Because now you really deserve it. That guy should be pacing the canvas like an expecting father. And that guy should be working the mat. He should be done right. I've seen the guys in the ring apron blow up more than the guys in the match, because they're cheering, they're, God, come on. He's just about there, the guy pulls back. You react the same, oh my God, I was almost in. Too many times you look over in the corner on a camera and there's a guy over here and he's got his arm here. He's just like this. Or, one of my favorite stories. What was his name? The guy played for the Bulls that worked for WCW.
Steve McMahon.
No,
You had great before from WCW, Dennis Rodman.
the basketball player.
Yes, Dennis Rodman.
Hogan, Dennis Rodman, that's it. Dennis Rodman, it was San Diego State. It was a pay-per-view, I can't remember the name of the pay-per-view. Dennis and Hogan against DDP and Carmelo. More wrestlers for 300. As the match is going on, we were kind of watching the match backstage, and all of a sudden somebody looked over and saw, I just forgot the guy's name, Dennis Rodman. And somebody said, guys, look at Rodman in the corner. He was in the corner like this, he passed out. He was sleeping on the top turnbuckle. Go back and watch it. Hysterical. Probably, if I'm Hogan, I must have thought, what the hell am I gonna do now? Yeah, classic WCW. That's probably something you don't want to do, is pass out. And I don't think he passed out from sleep. I don't know. I'm crazy. But tag matches done the right way with the right guys, if it's I mean, we'll go back to the test of time of Rock and Roll Express, Midnight Express. Shit, even the guys, big fans of the Revival guys, both those guys, awesome workers. Done the right way, following the blueprint with 4 really good talented guys. Tag match is way more exciting than a single match because it's such a different build, and it really erupts at the end of the night. What time is it?
12:38.
Okay. Any other questions? Yep.
How would you build a tag team on television?
Build a tag team what?
Let's say it's a tag team that didn't debut together, but they came together. How would you progress them as working as a unit from a week-to-week basis?
Just having them working as a unit, doing everything together. You know, like I said, the best tag team is to have 2 guys and put them together and make one. They should work as one person. You should never, like, you go in there, you do your own thing, you tag, this guy goes in there, he runs his own spots, you tag back out, he does his own thing. Now that's 2 single matches. You should always bring a guy in with something, and it could be as simple as you tag the guy, you shoot him in, you drop down, that guy gives him an elbow, covers, illegal guy rolls out, gets back on the apron, continues the match. So you're feeding each other, you're working with each other, you're selling with each other, you're doing everything together possible. So you always present yourself as a tag team. Very important. Any other? Yeah.
So what if like the wrong person is legal and like the person that's legal gets out and you're like, you go finish whatever your spot or you go out and grab them?
No, you let you
like,
you laugh your ass off and hope to God the camera's not on you. That happened to me. Me and my brother were working the Fantastics, the original Fantastics. Tommy Rogers and Bobby Fulton in Japan. I must have had too much sake the night before, a beer or something. Somewhere in the match, I don't know how it happened, me and Tommy both threw my brother into the ropes. And I was my brother's partner. So as it was happening, it was like, Tommy looked at me and goes, "What are you doing?" I go, "I have not a clue." You know, that's the fun part of our business, to go back and tell all those stories. Because at the moment there, I was a little embarrassed and it was ridiculous and it was, what the hell just happened? Thank God it was a Japanese audience because what happened? I don't know. Yeah. I mean, the fun part of our business is the bloopers. Things are going to happen, and no matter how long you've been in the business. I had a match with Jushin Liger in front of 16,000 people for the junior title in New Japan. He got to the ring first. No, I got to the ring first, I'm sorry. I got to the ring first, wipe my feet off on the apron, go to step in, but when I stepped in, I put my other foot on the outside here, went to take one step, hooked my foot on the bottom rope, took a face bump. Got up, pretended like nobody was in the arena, dusted myself off, and I'm just kind of like laughing hysterically inside. Liger comes back out. He looks in with his mask and he comes in and gets to me like this, wrist puts him back. He goes, "Tell this guy he can't get in the ring worth shit." I go, "I'm fucked." I got back to the locker room and Rick Steiner started laughing at me. It was Rick Steiner and Kensuke, no, not Norris, Kensuke against Sting and somebody. And so when I was walking back, Rick goes, "Yeah, nice fall." And I go, "Gotta be careful, man, Karma's a bitch." That's what happens to him. He goes on the top rope, 2 guys are coming up to feed for a double clothesline. He goes to step off. It's the old scene in Dumb and Dumber when they went down the airplane. When he got to the airplane, there's no airplane, the guy fell. Same thing, he's on the top rope and fell like this. Both guys just looked at him and went like this and put the boots to him. I'm standing waiting at the locker room going, they walk right through the curtain, I go. And he goes, I deserve it, I set myself up, I screwed myself. You can have fun then. Again, I always have a goal. My goal is always to walk away from places like this and make sure you guys at least got one thing out of what I said. A lot of stuff you probably heard before, maybe I say it in a different way, but everything I said is really, really important. I've been doing this a long time. Part of my job now is to, well, not now, it's always been, work with talent. Trying to get the best out of a match. So they're not doing something and just throwing it away, When you put a match together, get something out of it, work for the match. Enjoy the match. One of my big pet peeves now is nobody has fun anymore. It's like they're so worried about this. Don't. Accidents, I used to have a shirt that said accidents cause people. Accidents happen. Everybody, at least a big part of everybody that got in this business didn't want a 9-to-5 job. I don't want to, and that's me. I wasn't going to sit behind a desk and have somebody tell me what I'm doing for $6 an hour. 7, maybe 6, no. So, and my dad was in the business, and I had an amateur career that was cut short. And I'm like, I'd rather wrestle than work 9 to 5. I can never see myself, especially after you've been in the business and there's so much freedom of traveling and hotels, you kind of do things on your own. Yes, you do have a boss, but it's not one that's standing behind you going on top of you all the time. So have fun, enjoy the business, because what you don't want is too many guys that see 20 years down the road, they've already quit, they're all miserable. I got screwed here, and then, enjoy it, have fun with it. Man, I wouldn't trade a second of what I did. I got to see the world, probably been around the world 9, 10 times, who knows. A couple million miles on Delta, a couple good points on Marriott. Got to meet a lot of interesting people. Got to see a lot of cool things. Drove different cars, rented cars, stayed at different hotels. Just had a blast. I mean, there's no other job in the world that you could do this. It's a little hard at times because you're away from family. I've missed birthdays, missed wedding anniversaries, missed a lot of stuff. Kids' first football games, ballets, anything. But it's a sacrifice you do. You know, again, I wouldn't. Teasing my wife the other day, the end of August, we will have been married for 24 years. But we figured in the 24 years that we were married, really been together for 12. Because half of that time I was on the road. You're doing 200, 250 dates a year. People always ask you, how the hell do you do that with a wife and kids? It's got to be hard. Hell yeah, it's hard. It's a sacrifice. But then there's part of me that says, my wife laughs about it, that if you weren't here half the time, we probably wouldn't last it because we'd be on top of each other all the time, driving each other nuts. So we definitely had an opportunity to give us some space for sure. But I wouldn't trade it for the world. I love it. Love what I do. Yes.
Does this remind you about taking breaks during the...
God damn it. Breaks are breaks in a match, commercial breaks. So I know I have a commercial break. So what I got to figure is, what do? You want to try to come up with something that's compelling. You want to try to come up with something that's a question. So the question would be, and this is one that's overly used, but somebody does, I'm wrestling with a guy, it's for the title, and I'm taking him to the limit, I got a cover, and it's almost there, cover almost there, and something where I hit the guy and he rolls out, and I miss it, and I'm still in disappointment. Go to break. The question from the fans is, and commentary is going to put over the fact that Dean Malenko was this close to winning the title, he just about had it, the guy wouldn't roll away. You got to stick with it and come back after that commercial break, because we got to sell Preparation H, and find out, is Dean Malenko going to win the title or not? Form a question in your head that the audience would ask. At home, because they're the ones seeing the commercial, of course the audience. Live is not seeing it. So always think of it as, does everybody understand that? It's a question. Two guys crash and burn over the top. Who's going to get up first? Who's going to get in the ring? Who's going to break the count? Think of questions. What's overly used now, and you'll probably see it, and you should feel it already. Everybody does dives as a break. Everybody falls out of the ring. Double downs are the shits for a break. Don't like it. It could be, it's giving you a couple ideas. It could be you do something big, you crawl over, everybody in the building is perceived, that's it. Dean's gonna win the title. Arm drape, 1, 2, kick out. Back to cell, go to break, holy shit, with Dean going, I was this close. No, I'm just kidding. I was this close to winning the title, go to break. So now everybody at home going, holy shit, he almost won it. Maybe he can win it. I gotta stay tuned. Honey, I'll be there in a minute. You know? So you gotta think of questions that you leave the audience at home on. They gotta pick up on the other side of the commercial. You know, I have pitched this a million times, nobody wants to do it. I would love one time to beat somebody during the break and replay it. I just think that's real, I think it's natural, I think it's organic. And I think it's cool. Because no one has ever done that before.
And now they do like the commercial, like big and then like
In the box, I hate that. The only reason why that's done, sponsors. That is the only reason why. Because to me, and maybe you guys will agree with me, when I'm at home, that's not often when there's wrestling on TV, I'm usually there. But sometimes I'm at home, I like to watch a show as somebody at home. I'll watch it, and what takes my mind off it is, yes, it's got the match in a little box, but in this big box, there's something else, and what you're hearing is what's in the big box. And I'm sorry, but attention span of most people these days is very quick, and it's very hard to be gone. What? Huh? Ah, shit, I missed it. What? You selling what? Huh? It's too much. I mean, two things are worse going on. I'm like you. It drives me nuts. You know. But again, you know, break spots. Got to try to think of stuff that's different. I would love one time for somebody to get beat, come back up on the other side. Guys, you missed it. Nobody would ever go for that because they would think the audience is getting screwed out of something. But to me, it's like, if you want to be different and do things different, that's different. That's never been done, ever. Maybe once.
That was done because we watched that in training the other day. Like, Mr. Perfect did it with Rick Martel. But I think it was when like Raw was still like live for the first time.
Right.
So I think they just had off timing. But like,
Right. I mean, there's been mistakes before
yeah.
in matches where there's been title matches and the ref's done a 1, 2, 3 and somebody won the title that wasn't supposed to. So you got to give them the title. That's happened at live events before.
Yeah.
Guido. Guido against somebody, and the referee screwed up the count, and Guido ended up winning the title. We dropped it back the next night, but shit happens. Happened to one of the girls. Happened to Melina. That's what it was. Melina overseas. Screw job with the ref, and she got a 3 count, forgot to kick out or something, and she lost the title. She got up looking like, what just happened? Well, shit happens. You know, that's the fun part of our business, though. When things they're not the norm, you know. Any questions from the peanut gallery back there? Yes.
Yeah, like especially, I mean, thinking maybe tag team wrestling, but like I think for everybody, you know, we have to be different. We have to try to look different
Right.
than what we already have.
Mm-hmm.
But on the same note, should you also think about trying to cater yourself to wherever you're trying to work, whether it's a certain type of independent or maybe it's one of the bigger companies. If I know they have this type of tag team wrestling, should I try to maybe cater my style? Like, hey, I can do that too, since that's what y'all like. Should I go, no, after that, y'all have that, this is what I bring.
Right.
And maybe what they think, oh, geez, you know.
Guys that like to get a job as a tag team, unless you really, really like your partner and you really see something going and you got something that's special, that's okay. If not, I would always advise to try to get over as a single. Then if somewhere down the road you become a tag, I've seen guys get together as tags just by accident, or just you look at two guys in the ring at the same time and go, that's different. That works. Seen that happen a bunch. But what happens usually in tag team wrestling, when they break up, one guy rises, one guy falls, all the time. So you don't want to be the guy that falls. So I would always try to make it on my own. And then if you got a partner, or you have a partner, and he doesn't want to go, now you're kind of screwed. Kind of happened with me and my brother. Not I was screwed, but he didn't want to really wrestle anymore, and I was by myself. So I had to go to New Japan, which did more with single guys. Not single, not married, but single meaning I didn't have a tag partner.
It's like,
Yeah.
like I have a partner, like we're trying to like shop ourselves here, there, whatever.
Right.
We're just trying to like we're on the same path where it's like no certain people want certain things.
Right.
We decide do we stay with our style because it's different than what some other people are selling. Or we go, maybe we need to cater it to what these people are buying for right now. And maybe we get our foot in the door, then we can get back to what we take.
Right. That's one of those ones that's a hard question because there's so many factors that factor into it. You know, it's like, you got to appease one guy, but you got another guy you're working for. Usually, rule of thumb, if I'm working for somebody and that's the guy I got my deal with, I'm gonna make him happy because he's the one paying me. You know, for at least for that night. You know, unless you just really, really believe in what I'm doing is not the right thing, and I need to go as an individual, or I got a partner that's just a good friend of mine. We need to go this way. You know, I've had a bunch of partners that I like partnering with, but I was never like really into it. You know, my brother was my partner, of course, but that's different when you have your own flesh and blood as your partner. Benoit was my partner a couple times, but I like single wrestling more because you don't got to worry about yourself. Sometimes you get tag team partners, and then the other guy starts slacking. Now you're pissed off at him. Now things start really going at it. Makes a lot of fun. Any other questions back yonder? Yeah. Go ahead.
How did you deal with pain just on a regular basis?
Drugs. No, just kidding.
Just different methods,
Tylenol.
different strategies to, it's like,
Pain like pain in the ass, pain in the neck.
no, like the physical pain, because like, I don't have insurance.
All right.
And sometimes I'm just trying to figure out different ways I can just, you know what I mean?
Pain comes along with the business. It's what it is. From the immortal words of Dr. Death Steve Williams, it's not ballet. That's why I hate the F word. Get the F out. I hate the F word because it's not true. Because you do get hurt. I don't give a shit what anybody tells you when you're on the top rope and you fall in the middle of the ring. Is it cushy? Is it spring? Yeah, but it still hurts. But you don't think about it because your adrenaline's going during a match. But if you're cold and you just go in the ring and you take a bump, it hurts. When everybody here first started, I could tell you could tell me in 2 seconds. The first day in, somebody has you doing 50 backdrops, 50 tackles, and the next morning you wake up and you're like a cardboard box and you're going like this to the bathroom. And you're going, what the hell did I just sign up for? Boy, did I screw myself. It's like working out. The first time you do chest or you do legs, the next day you're sore as shit because you exerted yourself, you're doing something. I'm not a big fan. Don't want to piss on anybody's school teaching, but I am not a fan of having a guy go out there and do 50 backdrops, 50 bumps. I just think that's stupid. I shouldn't have to teach you how to be in shape. Go to a gym. You take enough bumps in this business as it is, I don't think you need to practice taking 50, and I've seen it before. And those are the guys that really don't know how to wrestle, so they're gonna piss the time away because they got a 2-hour class. They'll piss at least an hour and a half away if you're doing drills because he doesn't know what to teach you. Seen that a lot. So now you're doing like 100 backdrops, 100 this, and you're walking away going, what? If you know how to do it, you know how to do it. You're gonna do enough of that in the business. I'm not saying you don't have to toughen somebody up, but there's other ways than that. That's just my personal preference. It's my opinion.
So you said about like tag team matches and like the comeback should be as long as like not as long but like big comeback for the as long as the heat was long, big comeback. But like how long before like you tagging that person back in? Like
Well, it depends. I may not tag him back in. He may not be part of the finish. Or he may. What I don't want to do, if a guy's getting his ass beat for 5 minutes and he's had some serious beating on him and he's in the corner still selling, and a minute later I'm tagging him and he's coming off the top rope with a crossbody and he's running the rest of the comeback, not good. He didn't have enough time.
Like I took all the heat and then like, and then she goes like,
it's all coming out.
One, and then she kicked and then I didn't even get out of the ring yet and she comes and tags me back in and I was like,
I'll tell you what, you call her up and you get her ass here right now and I'm gonna fix the whole damn problem. No, I get it. I see it all. Yeah.
But I'm like trying to still sell and stuff, but I'm like, oh God.
Not that this is a big thing, and I'm not going to mention names. I saw a match last night in Hazleton, 2 girls, and I didn't watch any other match because I get totally sick and tired of watching wrestling matches because that's my job, so I do it all the time. So on my days off, I'm not going to sit there and watch. So I just happened to walk out, just see how hot the arena was still. It's back in the air conditioned room, and they were doing a spot, and one girl did 2 Germans to one girl. That girl turned around and hit 1 German, and she got up quicker than the girl that only got the 1 German. So the 2 Germans weren't as big as the 1 German that the girl taught. Wrong psychology. Not that that's kind of like what you talk about, but to a certain point where it's like, and if she's doing that, I'm standing there going, if you're the one who took the bump, rule of thumb, if I give you something and you're up before me, that's wrong. There's something definitely wrong with that picture, And once you stand up, you can't go back down. Once you commit yourself, you're dead. It's like how many times we see this? Guy's crawling to the top, this guy comes up, and he gets there too soon, he's standing here, and he's watching the guy come with the crossbody, and he does the drunken cat step. And he's watching the guy. You look like the biggest retard standing there, catching a guy that you could actually see coming at you. But we laugh about it, we make fun about it, but we see it. Because it's up to this guy, a lot of it's a trust factor. It's up to this guy here to come up and watch the guy at the peripheral vision and see where the guy's at. Once you come up here and you commit yourself standing up, you're gonna go, oh shit, I gotta get back. You can't go backwards. But you stay here to the side like this and you're selling. Now as the guy climbs, then you may come up, whatever, shake it off, and as you turn, boom. Like that guy should be in the air off the half turn, so when you hit the full turn and you hit, so you don't see it coming. What is that? Timing. That's all it is, just timing issues. But we see it all the time. We see guys actually stand there with their arms like waiting to carry the baby, and the guy's still climbing, but I'm gonna wait for him because I was told to do that. If that happens and there's such an elapse of time when that happens, go over there and knock the guy, get on him and tell him right away, abort. We're not doing that. Let's go to something else. Or this happens, like everybody here at least happened once, I guarantee it. You run a spot and one part of the spot gets messed up. You pick them up and you go back and you can do it again. Do you do it again? No. Because you look like an idiot. Oh shit, I missed it. Get back up, grab me the headlock, let's do it again. No. If you messed it up, if you had A, B, C, and now you went to E and you forgot D, don't go back and redo the spot. It's over, it's done. Just move on. If you're on the top rope, I'm not gonna say, if you're on the top rope and you fall off and you do spill in the ring by accident, do you just look at the guy? If you're a heel, the heel just goes over there, beats the shit out of the guy. Make people forget. Just take advantage of what happened, beat the guy up. You may have called a match where I'm working with Henry, right? I'm working with Henry, we're in the back. I said, Henry, what do you sell good? He's gonna tell me cars. I'm gonna go, no, really, Henry, what do you sell good? And he goes, I sell my arm pretty well. Okay, good, I'm gonna work your arm. We're match 3. Match 2, we're watching it. Holy shit, they worked the arm for 10 minutes. Am I gonna go to those guys and yell at them and then go to Henry and go, well, we're still gonna work the arm. Bam, 0-0, we're gonna work the leg. We're gonna work the earlobe. We're gonna work something different. The earlobe is good to work. You ever work the earlobe? No, I'm just kidding. That's the ad-lib part. You gotta change on a dime. Or do what I do your homework. You're wrestling, you're part of the show, ask. Look at the card. First thing you do when you get the bill, look at the card. See who's working that night. See who does stuff like you, to your point. See who does stuff like you. See, this guy may have been from the same school, or you may have done something last night. Go to the guy. Hey, listen, what are you doing tonight? You doing any hurricanranas off the top? What are you guys using for a finish? Know everybody's finished so you don't do something. If the first 2 matches were schoolboys or small packages, and you had one called, oh shit, it's the 3rd one in a row. I'm gonna get no reaction because they've already seen it. You know, just all you gotta do is just very nicely just go to the guy, you're in front of me. And and you know this guy flies around, what are you doing tonight? Are you not doing this? And just find out what he's doing and do something else. And of course, what I used to like to do, I go, if I was before a guy, and he would ask me, and he goes, what are you doing? I would say, I'm doing this. And because it was before him, I could screw him because he was after me. Never done that before. That's just having fun. Really? No, we're not gonna do anything. We're just gonna grab holds, we're gonna sit there. We're not gonna do any hurricanranas, no moonsaults, no nothing. I made sure we did everything possible. And I came back to the curtain and go, you're such an asshole. I go, thank you. But that, I didn't do it just to be mean. I did it. I was bored. Anybody else? My God, man. Look at these guys. Same guy. Somebody come up with some ridiculous question. Go ahead, Henry. Go ahead. You're Henry.
All right. So how do you remain competitive with other guys without being like an asshole? Because I want to have the best match, but I don't want to be the guy that's again, taking everyone's boo and trying to you know what I mean? But I want to raise morale and have a sense of competitiveness in the locker room. What are the strategies that we can do that?
It's one of those ones that's a little difficult. You kind of work for the match, you kind of care what the guy you're working with is doing, but at the same time, the only guy that's ever going to take care of you going forward in this business is you. There's a whole lot of games that we play in our business. That's the sad part, because sometimes it takes away the fun aspect of what we do. And I'm not getting off on a tangent, I will answer your question. One of the main reasons why I loved working in Japan, because the politics were staying in the Japanese locker room. I wouldn't know what the politics were because I didn't speak Japanese very well. I can get some wonton soup and an egg roll, and that's about it. But the politics stayed in the locker room of the Japanese guys, so the gaijin/Americans or foreigners never saw that, never witnessed it. So it was such a great environment. And everybody's happy. You got paid in cash at the end of a tour, $100 bills, very crisp. Went to the bank when you got home. Everybody's happy, especially wife's happy, wife happy, everybody happy. And it's good. Over here, there's a lot more games to be played. A lot of politics, a lot of cutthroats. Welcome to the world of wrestling. And it's besides the in-ring stuff, and I've always said this is probably the easiest thing we do. The mechanics of putting a match together, or doing a match, or putting a spot together is easy. It's the stuff backstage, that part of the business, guys have a lot of trouble with. I was always okay doing that. I was always confident in myself. My comrades that were with me most of the time let me do all the whining and dining and the business part. That's the Jewish part in me. I always felt comfortable. I was okay because my dad taught me all they could say is no. You could ask for the world, all they could say is no. I want $1 million raise, no, but at least I asked. If you don't ask, you never know. You know, and then somebody else asked before you, and damn it, I should have asked. He's got my spot. A lot of crap that, you know, everybody worries about themselves. That's okay, because sometimes you got to be a little bit of a ass. You got to be a little bit selfish, because at the end of the day, nobody's going to pick up your tab at home and pay for your mortgage. No one's going to pay for your car. No one's going to pay for your kids to go to private school. It's the reality of life. So that part of the business is a little tricky, but that'll always be there, I believe. I don't know if it's ever going to leave, you know. But get back to your point. It's difficult, very difficult, because you gotta, kind of like serving two masters at the same time. I believe in it, like there's plenty of times I've been in matches where I don't believe in them or whatever. I'll go talk about it, and I'm not gonna win the war when I talk about it. I gotta do what I do, because in my contract, it never states I only can do what I wanna do, not what you wanna do. If I feel something's wrong, I ain't doing it. You could do that, but you'll probably get a finger pointing to the exit sign. So who really won at the end of the day? You know, some things are just very difficult. And I hate scaring people off with that, but it's the reality that you're going to get smacked with at one point in your life. When you go, shit, they didn't tell me about this at wrestling school. And they tell me it's so damn difficult to get a match. Yep.
So like, what if someone wants you to do like a character or like a storyline or something that you're not comfortable with? How can you say no in a nice way? Or, like,
Seen that a lot.
by it?
Dolph Ziggler, I think that happened to Dolph. Dolph hated it. Was there another name before Dolph Ziggler? I can't remember.
The cheerleader?
I know there's Nick Densmore. Not Nick Densmore. Nick, the squad, he was the golfer. But when they gave him it was Dolph Ziggler, but I thought it was something else. He hated the name. Absolutely hated the name. Someone else liked it. Someone else that liked it counts more than him hating it. Sometimes you may be told to work this way or whatever, and you might go, this ain't never gonna work. And then it does, and you go, I'm wrong. Ringmaster, he probably didn't think that was gonna work. And he just eventually just became him. The guy you see Steve Austin on TV is pretty much Steve in person. Just amped up a little bit, of course, it's TV, we get that. Pretty much him as a person, having fun, kind of I don't give a shit attitude about life. And it's, you know, I'm my own man, he's a man's man. Guys likes that fun, likes to joke around. That's Steve. That's why that character works so well, because that's pretty much him. He's not, you know, an altar boy that's told to be a guy that's drinking and flip off your boss and do something totally different. That's pretty much, that's pretty much Steve in a nutshell.
I was wondering, working for a major company that had television, working consistently as you did, at the rate that you did, how did you make sure to differentiate your television matches from your big pay-per-view matches?
It's hard now because pay-per-views happen so frequently, I think. Again, these are just my opinions, not putting anybody down for their business, whatever, but just my opinions. I think there's way too many pay-per-views. But I get that money pays for pay-per-views, sponsorship, all that. But there was a time when you look back when there's only like 3-4 pay-per-views where you had like 2 months to build to it, where the pay-per-view felt special. To me, I think now, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm just too old or too past it. To me, pay-per-views feel like an extension of Raw. It's just another TV show. It doesn't feel special like it used to. You had this big build-up, you know, of like 8 weeks, and like finally they're gonna get together, and they never touched before. Now it feels like you give me a pay-per-view match and tell me it's 3 weeks away, and I see A and B together all over the 3-hour program. So by the time I get to the pay-per-view, I feel like I've seen the match like 100 times already, and I'm like, what are you gonna do different? There's your point. Now you gotta do something different. But I've already done everything. So like, what the hell do I do? Again, just my opinion, you know, take it for what it's worth. Me personally, I just feel there's way too many pay-per-views. But I get the money aspect. I get that I'm not stupid. I just think that sometimes the Raw TV is just as good as the pay-per-view. And to me, it shouldn't be. Pay-per-views to me should have been like the one-off or the end of an angle, like when Austin faced Rock. I can't remember what pay-per-view that was. It was in Houston at the Astrodome. That had a good long couple months build. So when they finally got together, you were waiting for it. You built it. It's hard to build anything anymore because it's like the payoff happens in 2-3 weeks. It's that quick, and you're done. Again, I can't change that. It's not my issue.
So when you get a chance to do extra work and they have like the 5-minute matches you can do, like what can you do in the match to like stand out so you can get a call back to a tryout?
Oh, you mean like being an extra or an enhancement match, and you got 5 minutes? Not a whole lot.
Because like before they're like, oh, well, we want to see you wrestle more. And then later,
Oh, yeah.
we'll move character more. And I was like, oh.
Yeah. Well, this can be no shock to you. There's a lot of times during the day you get told one thing at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. By the time it's 6 o'clock in the afternoon, you're getting something told totally different. And you're gonna go, what? But I was told I was gonna wrestle. Well, that was then. We're talking about now. And 3 hours later, the show might start. You might get something different from the first thing you were told and the second thing. It's not a big deal. It's just, if you don't know what's coming, or you didn't expect that, or you didn't imagine the wrestling business being that way, it could be a shock. It's not all glorified as you think it is from a standpoint of, hey, I get to wrestle in front of people and that cool. It is. But the other part is, you never know really where you're going half the time, and you kind of got to second guess a lot of stuff. And that's where you kind of got to worry about you, because nobody else is. Always make sure you take care of number one as best you can. Unless you're told to do something that, there's a lot of times guys are told to do stuff and in their mind they're going, I don't feel it, this ain't right, it's against my religion, it's against my thought process, it's against me as a person, I just don't like it. It would be like a straight guy being told to play a gay character. I'm not being mean or being racist or saying anything, I'm just giving an example, that's the truth. And my beliefs, I just don't believe in it. Or, you know what I mean? So do I do it? Do I don't? Do it? There's a fine line there. Don't know really what the answer is. You kind of got to feel who's ever telling you to do that. Hopefully no one would ever go that drastic. I've seen it close, never to that extent. You'd get pretty close to it though, where somebody telling you to be somebody that you know from your morals ain't right, you know?
Do what you do best.
Yeah, the only kind of half-assed example I could use is Nora Greenwald, who is Molly Holly, who's one of my students. I think she's one of the better workers around. Very gifted, real student of the game. And nothing against her, she's a very religious person. Got extremely high morals about life, and that's fine. Everybody's got their own thing, and I get it. She was in the Molly Holly character with Bob and those guys, and everything was fine. Then all of a sudden they wanted to go a different way, and they wanted to put her with Raven. Probably not what she wanted to do. We had a lot of long conversations because she used me as a sounding board, like, what do I do? My morals don't tell me that's the right thing to do. Very difficult. So she went to Vince a couple times. Don't know if they really worked it out. I try not to get into anybody's business. Some people I will, but some people just, I don't want to be in everybody's business. I don't want to hear a lot of stuff. And I don't know if they worked it out or not, but my point is, that was a situation where she didn't feel it, she didn't want to do it. Not because she was being a prima donna. Her morals tell her that's wrong. She doesn't want to, she's not that type of person. You got to respect people. Like, I'm sorry, but me personally, if you come to me and you tell me, Dean, I can't play a love slave. Why not? No. I'm just not, I don't believe in that. Okay, well, I can't tell you, well, no, do it because I'm telling you to do it. No, I got to respect who you are as a person.
What do you look for when like they're all doing their little tryout matches?
What do I look for? If guys can walk without tripping, no. Just where they carry themselves, where they walk in the ring, mannerisms. I can pretty much look at a guy in 5 minutes and tell you, not he's going to make it big, but he's got that aptitude. He's just got that thing about him that you just go, There's something about the way he moves. Sounds like a song. Yeah.
Going back to the Molly Holly thing, what do you do when they are like persistent when you're doing something that you don't want to do?
That's up to you. You can quit because your morals and your morale and you think as a person that's right. That's totally up to you. or you say, screw it, I need the money, I'll do it. I know they wanted her to kind of like open up from like a, you know, open the top up a little bit because they're pushing the envelope at the time a little bit, and she was playing the character with Hurricane and all that stuff, and that was a big as soon as I found out they were wanting to go that, I said that it's not going to work. You know, again, but you got to respect people's wishes. You know, I'm not saying they didn't or did. I'm just saying my opinion. Someone tells me they're uncomfortable doing something, nobody in this world should be forced to do anything if they believe that's not what they want to do. Then you get into now you get into some really bad problems. But again, if you got a check that puts food on your table, you might think twice. But again, I take myself out. That's your
Is it
thought.
better to like, instead of just be like, no, I'm not going to do that, but like come with a different idea? Like, well, I'm not comfortable with that, but I'm okay if we go.
I would.
Like, would that be
Great
easier?
point. Everybody hear what she said? She said, would you come with another idea? I'm not comfortable with this, but would you like to go this way?
You do that in call matches too.
Right. I mean, I've been there long enough to witness 3 guys that were told, I'm not going to bring the names up, 3 guys that were told to shave their heads, and they said, no, I'm not doing it. And they were no longer in the service. When I always thought that was stupid. You're going to shave my head for TV, and I got an opportunity to make more money and be on top, or at least be put in a more prominent role, when all that's really going to happen in the 6 weeks is my hair is going to grow back. A girl is totally different. I mean, that was Molly's idea with the head shave with Lisa. Because no woman's ever done that before, and that was cool as shit. And she loved it, she got a free haircut. And your hair grows back, and it ends up being thicker anyway, so it's a win-win. She got herself exactly on WrestleMania, she got a prime spot, and it was her idea. I'll shave my head if you want. Cool. Women's a little different because they're a little bit more caring about their appearance than a man is. I don't give a shit, shave my head right now, I could care less. But these 3 guys did care and didn't want their hair taught, so they, okay, you don't want to get your hair cut? We'll have a little fun with you. Never got back up again. One guy's working with me now. Who is it? Yeah.
Explain work rate, and when people say, oh, you got to work on your work rate, or we need work rate, what does that mean? 'Cause
I don't
hear
know.
that.
When you find out, tell me. What's your
Thank
work
you,
rate?
Thank you.
You got to work on your work rate.
Thank
It's kind of like a double negative.
Thank you.
It's like do. You do.
Yeah.
You work rate. Yeah.
Do you believe in soft handshake or hard handshake?
So basically they're saying, would I prefer soft or hard? Did you guys just edit that out? Huh? Well, sometimes you can start soft and then get hard. Or at my age, you start hard and then you go soft. That whole thing is just such a myth. I can't tell you how many old-time guys, they pass the joint like, hey brother, how you doing? Then they go in the ring and they beat the shit out of you. Because originally the handshake was to tell you that you're a light worker without telling you you're a light worker. But to me, it was always opposite. The guy that shake your hand the lightest is the guy that's going to beat the shit out of you, and then you go, but what about the handshake? You just... I always like to do the one where they're going to put a handshake, and I just go knee deep right in. You know, or if you get someone that's intimidated by you, give them the firm handshake, and then you're like, I can't remember, one of the girls on the roster, WWE, gives like a really hard handshake, and I always go, shit, man, let's loosen up. Awesome question. Yeah. Did you have any more?
No.
Okay.
I was just wondering, how do you know when you need to switch up your act? Like
Switch up your act.
Yeah, like switch up.
When you look on the crowd, they're doing a crossword puzzle. No, I'm just kidding. Another little tidbit. So you come up with a character. The character starts taking off little by little and starts to work. Eventually, all good things must come to an end, unless you're Steve Austin. The Steve Austin character, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 10 years forward, 20 years forward, that character will always work. There'll always be somebody you like to drink beer with. There's always somebody you want to shoot a bird to. You will always love to tell your boss to go F off, and you would always love to drop your boss into the ring. That character will never change, and nor should it. It'll be there to the test of time. Other characters that start going back the other direction, you got to figure out, not only do you have to find a character, when you find the character, you got to know your next thought process is, how do I get longevity out of this? How do I get as much as I can out of this character? Because what you don't want to do is get a character and you're over, and 6 months later, you're done. You know, the Damien Sandow stuff was really funny. I think it's one of the best stuff we did from a comedic standpoint. Santino's thing was, Santino was really over, but his shtick got really old after a while. It was like the same joke over and over again. And after a while, it kind of ran its course, and he never really did anything to try to change it, keep it the same and change it. Where like every night on the road, the Damien Sandow character, I had fun with that because I'm pretty creative. And I'd always go, hey, why don't we try this one where the guy hits his head, the turnbuckle. You push him aside, you ram your head, you push it, and we do the whole turnbuckle. People loved it. It was just comic relief from like every match. It was just, but you have to change it up. So you have to think. So a guy like the Goldust character, that's a very, very hard pronounced character. It's very hard to get rid of. So now he's into red paint. Just change your look a little bit. Val Venus, no matter what Val would ever do going forward, he's always the guy with the towel, making pornos. When you got such a strong character like that, it's hard for anybody. You can't go from being a porn guy to all of a sudden, now you're playing the role of a priest. A little funky. And have people buy it.
Can you be like a comedy character and then like get more serious? Like
That's hard. Once you
if you
know,
do like a storyline with it, or are you just like, oh, I'm a serious person now, or
like the Nick Densmore character, the Eugene character could kind of half-ass work, only because people like that sometimes can get really mad, and you could play into that. For me, the Santino thing was like, it was fun for a while, then it just became a joke that I was told too many times, you know. And you don't want to get a character that's so strong and so overbearing that you can't change it, but you got to think, you know, through the test of time and things change in life, the character's got to change, or not change a total 360, total makeup. You got to figure out, how does it work now? You know what I mean? How do I take this character and make it work now? And evolve it. Everything in the world evolves, especially our business. Yeah.
I have a question. You said at this point you've probably seen like everything move-wise, right?
Mm-hmm.
So would you say that people in your position, like, you look for the stuff in between? Like more or less, like, is he playing the character throughout the whole match? Is he like, is his movement, you know, like that? The stuff in between the moves, would you say it matters a lot more now?
I look for things that make sense. If the story is told correctly, you know, if I'm reading a book and you got me enthralled in what I'm reading and I understand it, and I'm waiting, you got me at the edge of my seat, turning every page. I want to be the same in a wrestling match. I don't sit there and go, okay, you know, that's a cool move. I have on occasions. That's a cool move, or that guy's doing this, or whatever, or they're just grabbing a hold. Or I try to think, okay, I would know their story ahead of time. Are they playing to their story? Are they doing everything they're supposed to be doing? Are they getting the most out of everything they do? Since I started working for AEW, because I didn't really know a lot of the guys, because I've been in a bubble for the last 18, 19 years. So now I'm kind of like, the bubble popped, and I'm seeing the real world a little bit and watching a bunch of independent guys, and there's a lot of talented guys out there. I never knew this guy, Darby Allin. I don't know if anybody here crossed paths with the guy. Just found out his story the other day watching something. And watched him work a couple times. I pulled him aside the other day and I go, we never really met. We met last week, shook your hand, but I just want to tell you, you did a hell of a job selling the other night. And you caught my eye. And I just walked away and I just looked at my shoulder and he was like, It just had, there's just something, sometimes it's just that thing, there's that it factor. And not that he's going to ever be a main event guy or a guy that's going to make millions of dollars, but I think he's something special. I think you can take him and you can make something of him. He's just got that something about him. Again, my opinion, just looking at it from a trained eye, because I've seen, like you said, I've seen everything. His movements, just shit that he does in the ring is just really, it's out there, but it's out there in a good way, you know what I mean? And the biggest thing that he's been doing that no one else that I've seen on the card there do as well is sell. I'm talking about the younger guys. The older guys different, because they understand. But, you know, he sold his ass off. Did I get on him about doing the stupid thing off the top rope and like this and the crash and burn on the ring apron. Oh my God. I said, please don't ever, ever do that in front of me. That was so fucking stupid. So bad. I'm not saying he's a bad worker. I'm just saying I love his work. I'm a big fan of his, or I wouldn't start paying attention to the guy. That did not need to happen. That's the part where I was telling you earlier, that makes no sense. That was just a pop, a big crash and burn pop. It's your fault. Hold on one second, I'm sorry. For absolutely nothing. It didn't gain anything. It didn't make the match better. Did it turn my attention and go, yeah, but in the wrong way? I was like, holy shit, that's stupid. Because it looked so set up, and it looked exactly like what you saw. Like, okay, I'm gonna stand like this and lay flat on the bed. There's just too many things that could have gone wrong that you didn't. Is that something you needed for the match to tell the story? Was that the break point? You know, it wasn't break point. Could have broke his back. He could have hurt himself so bad he could have been out in a couple weeks. That was stupid. And I just told him, I said, listen, you do some great shit. Please don't do stuff like that. Don't waste it. Don't hurt yourself, because he does some crazy, crazy stuff. Really, really nutty stuff. Because I guess he was a skateboard guy or stuff. And just watching his movements are different from anybody else I've seen. So, but things like that. Yeah, I'm sorry.
So, sir, my question goes to social media, essentially. There's ways that I think social media makes keeping kayfabe alive easier and more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to having different gimmicks, would it be maybe a good idea to create different accounts for each of those gimmicks, or would you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure I do. I'm one of the dinosaurs of the world. Me and Mike Rotundo and Arn Anderson are probably the only, well, Arn's dabbles in it, I guess, or Facebook or something, but I don't have any of that stuff. No, I'm saying I don't believe in it, 'cause that's where our world is. It's great for businesses because you can reach 2 million people, one push of a button. That's cool. Is it bad because everybody that texts, tweets, whatever you guys call it, is a monster on the other side? Because you can say a whole bunch of shit to a whole bunch of people, and you're 6'8", 280 on the text. Until you see me in person, I'm really 5'2", 90 pounds. You understand what I'm talking about? Everybody knows everybody's business now. There's no kayfabe because this conversation here, I guarantee you somebody's going to find out in California in 5 minutes. You know, it's the old, it used to be telegraph, telephone, tele-wrestler. That was our business. Telegraph, telephone, now it's like tell an iPad, tell an iPhone, tell a computer, I don't know. But it's very hard to keep anything a secret. Very rarely does it happen. I can't tell you how many times we've had surprise people showing up that I knew of coming in WWE that everybody was, we don't strategically, you don't tell certain people if you don't want it out there. There's some people that you know in your head, they got a big mouth and they're gonna say it, now you screwed up everything. So sometimes you strategically would not be told, you know, this person's gonna show up tonight, whatever the case may be. Social media can be good and it can be very dangerous. But I wouldn't start worrying about getting 50 accounts for every gimmick you have, you know. I think you can use social media to your advantage done the right way. Like, I don't think anybody's ever come up with a gimmick that's social media. Like, I'm not saying you have to call yourself iPad or Mr. Hashtag or whatever the case. It'd be cool if someone kind of took something from social media and kind of put that in a storyline, not a storyline, but from a character standpoint. Don't know what that is, just I thought about that when it started getting really prevalent in the wrestling, not just our business, every business. It's crazy. I don't know if that answers your question or not.
Yeah,
I hate social media. No, I'm just kidding.
no, it's fine. I understand why. But good and bad for plenty of things. But like again, for different gimmicks, say at CCW, if I was
Right.
over here performing, I was Mr. Motivation, which is my actual gimmick. But I have other gimmick ideas that I might want to do.
So we're working for different companies, but you're different characters in different
Right,
companies.
so, I mean,
That would be
all
really,
those
yeah.
different character,
That would be virtually impossible in today's day and age. As cool as that sounds, and it sounds cool, never work in a million years in today's day and age. You can't. There's no way that would work in today's day and age. There's just too many people talk. There's just too many things are white. Nobody's got any privacy anymore. Your business has become the whole world's business.
So maybe just do one gimmick at a time.
Yeah. Or, if you did it and put a twist on it, and let's say you're Mr. J, one place with a mask, you're Mr. P at another place. Mr. J knows Mr. P, they're acquaintances, but we've never seen them together. Kind of play a little bit of a take on that, like a little comical thing. Then you could have almost like, you know what you're doing, the crowd knows what you're doing, but you're having fun at their expense with it. You understand what I'm saying? Oh, the hell with it. No, I'm just taking it and putting a little different twist on it. Instead of trying to make people think they're stupid, like there's really two guys, and I know damn well it's the same guy. You would make fun of it first before they do. Like, Mr. P has talked to Mr. J on numerous occasions. He's ready for his opponent tonight. Mr. J, unfortunately, will not be here. Mr. P will. You know what I'm saying? And everybody's like, fuck, I know what this guy's talking about. Have fun. Giving it a little example. My dad was working in the late 60s, early 70s in Texas. Paul Bosch was running the company. My dad had a big match coming up against Wahoo McDaniels at the building, the old Houston Coliseum. Sold out. And as they were prepping that match weeks out, my dad, who was a great Malenko, was kicked out of Houston, Texas, kicked out of Texas altogether, never to return again. So as my dad is doing this interview in Tampa, Florida, he's exactly who he is, and he has a shirt on, a sweater, I'm sorry, and it said BM, that's not bowel movement. It's Boris Malenko, was my dad's wrestling name. My dad says, I am not allowed in Houston, Texas anymore, but I found a suitable replacement. Somebody that walks like me, talks like me, has the same mindset as me, and I'm gonna bring him out right now. My dad walks off a set, puts a mask on with the holes for the eyes this big, and the mouth this big, walks right back, sits down, looks in the camera, same sweater, nothing changed. You can see his whole entire face, just the material here and there, and says, my name is Mr. Houston, and I'm coming for you, Wahoo McDaniels. Bingo. He took his own crap, poked fun out of it, and it was hysterical. Dusty did that with the Midnight Rider. Same concept, but my dad did it first. Ha ha. Yeah.
What's your thoughts on bringing a character that is developed with using comic book storytelling, reflect the character and social issues, bring social issues to the forefront, have a character reflect on the life of a specific individual?
Holy shit! Did you? Yes. Okay, next question. I'll answer what I think I heard you say. Say it again, I'm sorry. Something about social issues, characters.
What's your thought on bringing a character that is developed with the use of comic book storytelling, reflect the character on social issues to bring social issues to the forefront, have a character reflect on the life of a specific individual?
You open your mouth and ask for questions, and that's what you get. I agree. Well, I don't know what the hell I'm agreeing with. I know what you're saying. You're talking about kind of like the Hurricane Helms stuff when he was doing like a comic book character type of deal, but kind of take social issues and deal with that. That would be really cool. The problem is there's so much out there. Life's really hard these days because there's so many groups and so many people. You can't say anything anymore without offending somebody. You can't look at anybody anymore. We've become such a stagnant race of people, and it's very difficult to live in this society that we live in anymore.
That was going to lead to my second question.
Huh?
That was going to lead to my second question.
All right, gotcha.
The character is so righteous that in his mind he thinks he's doing right, but to other people he's wrong because he's so righteous.
Right.
And therefore he's a heel. But in his mind he's a face.
I get that, and that'd be cool. Again, going back to all these different organizations and groups. They're so powerful in today's society with major companies and stuff that's going on. Again, like the whole world is, to me, just kind of clammed up. Everybody's afraid of everybody. God forbid you say something. No, to me, I think, and I don't want to get into the whole political tirade because I'm not here for that, but there used to be a thing called freedom of speech, freedom of thought. You kind of felt like you could say something and not be ridiculed because that's your opinions, but it's what your feelings are. I feel like sometimes the world has bullied you that you can't say stuff because you don't want to offend somebody. Everybody just needs to lighten up a little bit, just me. But To your point, that would be cool. I just don't know how you could do that. It's a great concept, and actually something like that was brought up a couple years back about, like for justice for all, type of, like the Superman gimmick, like he's there for all the right things and helping different parts. There's just so many people out there. If you did that and you went the other way, it's like, okay, now you're making fun of them. Everybody's just, the world's too touchy to me to make that work, in my opinion. Don't ask anything like he does.
How should a program be built?
How what?
Like a program, like a blood feud.
I'm sorry, say it
Like
again.
a feud that's like to the point where it has to have like some sort of big blow-up match. Like where you start,
Right.
and where you end.
You're asking me why isn't there, or how do you get that?
Like how would you construct it?
When you come up, like, besides the character part, you have to come up with ideas to figure out what you're doing. So let's say me and you have talked, we've had several conversations. We thought me and you together, we can make some money. So we want to go to Vince, and we want to go to creative, we want to go anybody, whatever, that's going to listen to us. And we write it down in an email, or we write it down, we send it to a whole bunch of people, and you keep a copy of it. So when somebody says, no, he's full of shit, he never sent it, he doesn't have an idea, aha, I do. Because it says right, oh shit, I deleted it. No, he says it right here. And you come up with a storyline. When I tell guys, when you come up with a storyline, you got to tell them where you're going and where you're ending up. You can't have a GPS and just write where you start. You got to tell me where you're ending up, or I have nothing to read. I don't know where I'm going. Same thing in a storyline. So if you go, okay, this is where the story starts, this is where it ends, it takes 6 weeks, and this is what we do along the way to keep the story alive, to build interest in the story, to get to a part where this is the pinnacle part of the story, this is where we blow it off. To me, it's been very hard to blow stories off because we run so fast. Feels like things happen so fast. Where before things slow down. It's just like a match. If you slow the match down, I can digest what you do. If you slow the story down, I can get more involved in the story. Not the story of the match, the story of your story of the angle, whatever the case may be. So it's hard because everything. Pay-per-views happen once a month. Where, like I said before, to me, when pay-per-views were like only 3-4 of them, you had this huge built-up now, the pay-per-view. So-and-so versus so-and-so in a cage match. Cage match was always, to me, one of the last matches because nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Finally got you, this is the blow-off match. Now we throw cage matches every other week and triple threats every other week and don't mean as much. Yep.
What's your take on exposure as far as getting
Wrong
as far as
exposure.
getting out, getting around to different places? For instance, is it you want to get out and get noticed, but you don't want to become not a draw.
Right.
You don't want to become something that's you can go see them any night of the week anywhere. Is it more important to get yourself out there and see as many promoters as possible, or is it more important to build your character so that you're a draw?
A little of both. But you want people talking about you. Yeah. The wrestling circle is a very tight circle. It's all over the world. There's people in Bangladesh, there's people in Cape Town, Siberia. There's wrestlers everywhere. Everybody's got a little wrestling group. But our community is very small because what happens on the East Coast within 2 seconds, somebody knows about the West Coast. So when guys are getting built, and kind of just when I just brought up the name of Darby Allin, so I say, I thought Darby Allin was cool. Somebody hears that. A friend of mine in California said, yeah, Dean liked Darby Allin. I am. Dean's a pretty good hand. Let me watch Darby Allin. Shit, Dean's right. Now all of a sudden somebody lights the match, hit the tree, and you got a forest fire. Before you know it, that name's circulating in a positive light because one person, it's like pyramiding, like marketing. One person, now everybody jumps on the wagon, and they're all putting over Darby Allin. Before you know it, everybody's wondering, who's Darby Allin? To your point. But they're both important. Finding a character and then getting yourself out and getting noticed, whatever way that may be. It could be, I wouldn't recommend this, but if you showed up at a show that wasn't including you, and I wouldn't hop the rail, that would be really stupid. Or get into the ring, that'd be even stupider. But if you walked around with a sign or something of that ilk, that somebody said, man, that takes kind of balls. Don't know. Something like that. I'm not saying exactly like that. I wouldn't do that. Make sure nobody has a gun before you jump a rail or something. Yeah, I'm sorry.
So
Yeah, it's that you're right. That is difficult. It's hard, but there's some characters, like if somebody came out and put their hands on their head and started swiveling their hips, right away you're gonna go, well, shit, I know who did that. He's copying that guy. I mean, you're always gonna get that because everything's been done before. The human body can only do so many things. You can only be upside down. You can only twist, turn, manipulate. You can only do so many things with the human body where it's like, okay, what move am I gonna do? That's why I brought up Darby Allin, because he's doing shit that I've never seen before. The thing where Cody grabbed him, went to throw him through the ropes, and took a bump on the floor. I'm like, wow, grabbed my attention. Maybe not all times in a good way or a bad way, but he grabbed my attention. He made me look. And that's what I'm trying to get guys to come up with shit, do stuff as long as it makes sense to get yourself noticed. Characters, if you can take kind of what a guy does that maybe you liked or that you can emulate to a certain extent and make it more your own, where it's like, if you're doing the Randy Savage and you go on the top rope and you give me the hand signal and drop the, oh shit, you may dress nothing like him, you may have blonde hair with a feather in your ear, whatever the case may be, but just as soon as you do this and drop the elbow, I know exactly what you're trying to do. So it's difficult. It's the hardest part, or one of the hardest parts, is trying to come up with something that's different, unique, that you think or may think that people are gonna like. And again, a lot of it's just cut and paste. A lot of it's just, most of it's trial and error. Just keep trying stuff. This didn't work. Okay, now where do I go back to the drawing board? Too many guys times have tried one thing, didn't work, they give up. Well, shit. If everybody did that, no one would go forward. Okay, well, this kind of worked, and then ask yourself, why did it work, and how do I keep it going? I don't have all the answers, as much as I think I do. No, I don't have all the answers. I got some of the best techniques to try to find them, but I mean, if you asked anybody else to come in here from experienced guys, no one's really gonna have, it's like the $68,000 question. Well, actually, now you're old, more like $1 million question. There's no answer. There is an answer, but there isn't an answer. It's very difficult. So when you walk out and you go, what the hell did Dean just say? No. I can guide you and try to help you the best I can, but there are a lot of things there's just no answer. You just gotta keep pushing forward and busting your ass and trying, doing everything you can to make it, if that's what you want. And if you don't, then you can look back and look in the mirror and go, you know what? I didn't make it, but I can't say I didn't try. That's my big thing I like to tell guys. If you got a dream and if it's something you want to do, who is it to anybody to say you can't do it or you shouldn't do it? Go out and do it. If it doesn't work, be proud of yourself for making the attempt of it. Just didn't work, Not a real good example, Barry Horowitz. Barry Horowitz was one of the students we had years ago. He was terrible. Gave my dad $3 grand to learn how to wrestle. My dad gave him the money back. I'm like, Dad, what the hell did you do? That's stupid. No. My dad gave him $3,000 back and told Barry, sorry, you're just not cut out for it. You just don't have it. He didn't mean it to be mean or hurt the guy's feelings. He was just telling the guy the truth. You've been here for a year. You still got 2 left feet. I'm sorry, I can't take your money. Which to me, I would have felt good that somebody had the balls and respected the guy for giving me my money back, number one, and tell me the truth. You may not want to hear it, but tell the truth. Barry made it. A year later, he came back. My dad said, okay, but I don't want all your money. Just we'll pay along, see where you're at. He wanted the business so bad, he made it in spite of himself. What he did was go to Vince at the old TV tapings and drive everybody nuts. If you ever met Barry, did you ever meet Barry? He will drive you nuts in a nice way. Like, Barry, okay already. Harmless, but will drive you nuts. Annoying, will drive you nuts. He was so annoying and drove Vince so nuts, Vince was like, all right already, we'll give you a job. The bad thing about it was, I think it was he Barry Hart or somebody, or Jack Hart? It was Jack Hart. And then they hired, a couple of weeks later, they hired Brett. So he had to change his name. But he made it in the business. He wasn't a major star. He was one of those traveling guys that put guys over. But he had a job. He made it to the place that he always wanted to be. And that was work for the Big Show. Not Big Talk, Big Show. The Big Show.
So you've done producer and you've done training and stuff. Which one do you like better and why?
Say that again?
So you've been a producer and you've been a trainer, and so which one do
Same
you
thing.
like better?
Same thing. When you're a producer coach. I produce matches, but I also help talent. My job, what I do now, is I watch talent because they're all a bunch of young guys I've never seen before, and I critique them. I don't tell anybody how to work. I don't say this is the way you should work. Everybody should. No, I hate micromanaging. You should never micromanage anybody. But I can guide you. I'm seeing eye dog. No, I will coach you and I will tell you what's right or wrong, in my opinion. It's for you to go out and you feel it, you see it. But I don't want to take anybody's character away. I don't want to change anybody's mindset. Do what you do, but let's just get the best and most out of it, and that's my job. And that's what I do. I don't sit there and go, I just tell you this is my opinion. I'll poke the two guys aside. Guys, I love the match. And they usually come up to me, most guys who come up to me, Dean, what you think, is they value my thought process of doing things. And I liked it. What would you do different? And I always put it back on them. What would you guys do? Did you guys like the match? What would you do different? What do you think you could have done different? Did you like the finish? Did you think it was flat? Get them involved in the conversation so it's not like, it looks like you're lecturing them and they're going, yeah. Let them tell you why they didn't like it. That's kind of the method I use, so I incorporate them into the conversation. Not that it was bad, but you think if we would have done this, it would have been a little bit better? Yeah, let's try that next time. That's all. I'm real easy to work with. I just my job is to make sure that match that either I'm assigned to or everybody's match, that they go out and give you the best match possible for the buck that you're paying. And make sure I get the best product, because that's what I'm paid for.
What happens if someone's like, you're trying to talk to someone and they're like giving you million excuses and you're just like, oh, shut up. Because I try to like, I don't try to give excuses.
You got a lot of built-up anger.
Got here, so then like, can you fix my whole thought process? Not just like, I'm not trying to make excuses. Like, okay, this is how I got here. I don't know if that makes sense.
You need a therapist, not a coach. We'll talk later. I got a friend.
Okay.
Yes.
How would you have described your character?
My character didn't have one. Huh? Why are you pissed? Damn. I never really thought about a character. I just enjoyed wrestling. My character was wrestling. I didn't care about doing promos. I didn't care that somebody thought, damn, Dean was funny as shit backstage, one of the funniest guys ever. Could have made a shitload more money if he would have brought that out into the public so they could see that. I didn't care. I had fun wrestling. I got in the business because I loved wrestling. It wasn't because I wanted to be a WWE star, I wanted to be a WCW star. I didn't want to see the world or whatever. My career got cut short as an amateur wrestler because I was in a car wreck when I was 16, which is 1977, long time ago. And due to that, I couldn't wrestle anymore because I was told to by the doctor who doesn't know athletes, you will never wrestle or play football again. Football is my second love, but too small. Jews own the team, we don't play anyway. So I was told I couldn't wrestle anymore when I was a junior in high school. I won state, or second in state, I think, sophomore year. Actually, it's funny, Pat Tanaka was on my team. Loved amateur wrestling, loved all the moves, the counter moves. That was my bag. And so when I got hurt, I said, how do I keep doing this? I have to turn pro, I guess, because I could still do the moves. That's where all of like the 1,000 holds and all stuff, and still kind of be me and get paid for it and still have a career, in something that I love doing. So I started wrestling around Florida with my dad and stuff, and we'd have matches that would be more amateur based than anything else. And then just kind of just took off, and the whole, I think Paulie was a big help working for ECW, like, this works for you if we do it right, like, never talk. You know what I mean? It's great for me. Half the time you can't shut me up anyway. But it was such a different character from who I am as a person in real life. I like that. I like the Jekyll and Hyde part. I like that when I go home, I can phone my kids and my friends, drinking a beer, make people laugh. I love making people laugh. Hopefully my work didn't make people laugh. But then I also like to turn it on when the light was on, when I walked through the curtain. I was the guy that went there and I was extremely focused on what I was doing. And my character was that. It's not a character I'm not the flaming chicken. I wasn't whatever the kid, I didn't wear a mask. I was me. Because I thought that was different only because nobody else was doing it. So I think it kind of worked a little bit for me. Again, I'm sorry.
Do you think you counteract the need for a character with like your in-ring work? Or do you think it may have hindered you in any way?
Maybe, I don't know. All I know is I did it for 24 years and had a shitload of fun doing it and got a nice house and paid for my kids to go through private school, so that's all I care about. And I hopefully entertain some people. Got a couple fans in the. Meanwhile, I think the most flattering thing is when I talk to a lot of young talent now, they'll be the guys that, if it wasn't for you and Eddie and those kind of matches and watching you grow up and watching you wrestle, I did that because of you, and that's, you get chills. That's pretty cool, that I can influence another generation of guys that watched me or watch my peers that were with me at the time. That's a big thank you to me. Okay, sorry. That kind of answer your question?
Yeah.
I hated characters. My character was not, and they used to say that my character was not being a character.
Did anyone ever like try to tell you to get a character?
Never tell me I need a character. I've heard several times, like, God, man, you're one of the funniest guys, man. Just let people see that. I'm okay with that. Like, I hate when people like, well, if you would have done that, you would have made a lot more money, or you'd have been on top. I never got in the business because I wanted to be a top. I didn't care about being the champion. That wasn't my goal. That doesn't mean I'm a bad guy, or it just means I'm a different guy. That just wasn't my goals in life. My goals was just, at the beginning, was just to keep wrestling, because I loved amateur wrestling. I was trying to figure out a way to keep that going, because I didn't want to stop, because some idiot doctor told me I can't wrestle anymore, because I have a steel rod and wires in my neck. Hold on. No, steel wires in the neck. See, it goes off once in a while. No, I had major surgery. And the doctor says, if you don't get it done, you'll probably be crippled. I'm like, okay, I'm 16 years old, prime of my life, playing football, wrestling, having a great time, and now everything comes to a screeching halt. It was really hard to digest, but I always wanted to wrestle. That's the one thing I always want to do. And no doctor, nobody was going to stop me from doing it. That's my story. I'll stick to it. Yes? Oh, sorry. I see things sometimes. I had some fall on my head a lot. Any other questions? What time we got?
150.
150?
Yep.
Oh, God, I got to get out of here. Again, just kind of reiterating, just things probably you've heard other guys talk about, which is fine. I said it better, but that's me. If you walk away and you just got at least one thing, hopefully that helps. This business is very funny sometimes, because what you think it is on the outside isn't always what you think it is once you get into it. I had a wrestling school for 15 years. I can't tell you how many guys have had doctors, lawyers, tax guys, every walk of life that you could possibly think that would never want to be a wrestler, always want to be a wrestler. But they all thought one thing, that it was easy, because they watched TV and they saw that the guy in the back that's now a star used to be a bouncer, or he was a bar back, or he was a manager of a club, or he was an ex-bodybuilder, or he just looked good and had a heck of a body, or he had a funny voice. Anybody can do this because that guy did it, and look at him, he looks like shit. Right, to a certain extent. Anybody could kind of do this, but there's a certain few that can do this well. That's the difference. Because I can teach everybody how to do a headlock takedown. I can teach everybody to tie up. I could teach you to fall down. The mechanics, the technical stuff, pretty much not as smooth as me. But you guys could, everybody could do that. The difference is now taking all that, how do you make money with it? How do you get over? How do you find the it factor? The one thing you can't make is the it factor. Guy like Rock, it factor. Steve Austin, it factor. Ric Flair, it factor. You are born with that. It's not something you train for. You just have it. You just have that thing where people go, he's got it. She's got it. He's got what? He's got it. I know, but what has he got? He's got it. It's Jericho with the it conversation. It, who's it? It. That you can't learn in the wrestling school. That you can't learn tying up. Which I'll finish. That was good.
One of your students that are you like most proud of?
Students I'm most proud of, Kane. Now he's a mayor, got out of the ring. No. X-Pac, because he's 15 years old when he met me. Still alive, still walking around, still wrestling, podcast stuff. I had a bunch of guys, Mark Starr, Buddy Landell, what's kind of my dad's. Norman Smiley, who teaches down in Performance Center. I've had so many guys through the years, it's hard to figure out who's around. Who? Tony Mamaluke. He's the only guy that still calls me or leaves a message every year. He goes, to my favorite wrestler, happy birthday. He says the same thing. I go, that's because he's had so many concussions, he keeps thinking it's the first time he wrote me. Dennis Smith was part of the New Breed many years ago. I don't know if you know David. Jamie Noble, Jet Jaguar, Jeremy Lopez, Nora, trade Reggie Bennett, sister, she didn't make it. Oh God. Okay, I'll say these 2 words. Steve Regal, right now, if I said this, he'd probably kick me in the ass. Hammer and Mark Merrow. Wow, it was a bad graduating class, I gotta tell you. Van Hammer, wow. Real quick Van Hammer story. So here's a guy, looked good, I gave him a guitar, I gave him $3,000 a week, which comes out to $156,000 a year. Just left wrestling school, knew nothing, but he got $156,000. So all of a sudden, his shit don't stink because he knows it all because he's making $3,000 a year. Not a bad deal, just coming right out of wrestling school. He was also a hairstylist. Should have stuck to that. He came and worked a couple places and not snubbed me off, but all of a sudden he turned his nose up a little bit and became very enchanted with himself. He's a big star. He used to wrap the guitar around his neck, the whole thing. A year later, they let him go and he comes knocking at my door at the wrestling school. Open the door. Mr. Humble. What are you doing? Got let go. Really? Sorry to hear that. Not really. I go, remember the part where I told you probably should learn how to work first before you go out there and do something? Because the gimmick is cool and you can have a gimmick that's really over. Classic example. There's a gimmick that, not that it was over, but it was okay. But once you go to take your gimmick and you go in the ring and the bell rings and you lose that gimmick, you lose the guitar, you gotta wrestle. You gotta know how to wrestle. So after a while, he kind of exposed himself. He kind of exposed himself that he's really the shits and doesn't know how to work. And he came back with his tail between his legs and it's like, come on, say it. I told you so. Say it. You're right. Should have learned how to wrestle. Maybe that $156,000 could have been $256,000 if you could learn how to wrestle. Maybe he could have been making $500,000 on top. Who knows? Probably not. I'm really jazzing it up. But prime example of somebody, we've got a lot of guys in this business that think they're way better than what they really are. Talk too much, I gotta keep going. I'm gonna leave you with this. And I usually start with this, but I've been leaving with it. The first thing you do in a match when the bell rings, the first initial touch, what do? Lock up. Do you think that's important, how you lock up the first thing you do?
Yeah.
Okay, jeez. Somebody drilled you guys. Most important, or pretty damn important? Why is it important? Huh? First impressions. I can't tell you how many guys tie up and they tie up like 2 wimp. As soon as you're dead in the water. Because you told me right away it's all bullshit. And that's the first impression. So you got to tie up like 2 pit bulls, 2 rams, 2 loving friends that haven't seen each other in years because they both went to the army and missed each other. Whatever. But good. I'm glad. Usually I get it. So what's the first thing? And guys look at each other like, I don't know, pull your knee pads up? No. If you're selling and your knee pad falls, do you pull it up or you don't worry about it because you're selling?
Don't worry about it.
Good answer. Okay. If you guys need to, you need a therapist, we'll get what you get with you. You need a better guy and better questions. I hope you guys got something out of what I told you guys. Appreciate you having me here.
Thank you.
What?